Hello and welcome out to this week's episode of Gamers Council. I did a boo-boo and I have the show on in the background. So there, I canceled that. So now I can hear just one of me. Hi there, everybody.
Dave, I literally just did the same thing. I had to mute it.
I was just
literally
going, how come you run 2 copies of the show?
Yeah.
Because I'm a dumbass. Hello, welcome out, everybody. First of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody being on the show tonight. The panel is amazing. We have a first-time guest tonight. That is awesome. And then we also have 2 recurring guests that are just absolutely amazing. And of course, we have my co-host Rhetri. Rhetri, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing great, Dave. You know how much I love to talk about the FTC. But hey, it is what it is. We got to do it. We got to pull off this Band-Aid. Good news is this crap's almost over, I think. So we're getting to the finish line, but I'm super happy to have K.ASANTA back here and SloMoBackSlap, who've both been here before, and his debut, Mr. Bushido. So glad to have you guys. Welcome to the show and welcome chat. Welcome everyone coming out. Appreciate you. And this should be a fun one for sure.
Most definitely. And I got to go to K first because K is an absolute warrior, a mega man, a marathon man, the ultimate in podcasting, because he has just come off of a over 5-hour podcast on the Iron Lords and then was gracious enough to join us tonight. So K, thank you so much for being here, man. So much appreciated.
I mean, come on now. I was just sitting here chatting with a bunch of friends, and I'm sitting there chatting with a bunch more friends. It's all good, you know. And as I said in that many times ago when I first got jumped on here, when you Michael Keaton me, I will be here. Let's go.
And I did, didn't I? Sent you the bat signal.
That's right. Let's go.
I love it. Well, thank you, sir, for being here. Greatly appreciated. SloMoBackSlap. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Yo, what is going on, fellas? How you guys doing? I am full of energy because I haven't done a 5-hour podcast. So I have been dealing with 3 kids, trying to nibble away all my energy. So I am probably like I got energy, just not as much energy as I would have normally. But I'm here. Let's do it, man. Let's have some fun.
All right.
Let's get into these topics. Let's do it.
Sounds good. And then, of course, our brand new first time ever guest, Mr. Bushido. Mr. Bushido, how you doing, sir?
Hey, not too bad. WEBDAVE. I'm glad to be invited and appreciate it. Usually my Sundays are tied up with the wife, but I was able to get away this time, so I'm glad to be here.
All I gotta say is a shout out to all our wives because
for letting us do
letting
this,
us do what we like to do.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was funny because Bushido last week, like right before we went live, he's like, "Hey, you need any guests? My wife's gone." I was laughing. I was like,
that was a surprise.
I didn't see it till after the show. I was laughing. I'm like, I gotta see if he can come on next week because he's like, "My wife's gone. I need to podcast."
Yeah, that was it's open time, man. You know what's going on?
That's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
Rhetri, what we got going first, man? I know you got some cards and some stuff to show us. What's up?
Yeah, we're going to start off with the softball question as usual. I always like to find out what everyone's playing. So we'll start off with SloMo. What game are you playing, sir? Any new TV shows or movies or any of that pop culture stuff that's interested you that you've been watching lately? What you got?
Well, I actually, as far as what I was watching, you ever heard of, I'm pretty sure, I'm such an anime noob. So, like, I'm going to say,
me too.
Like, I'm going to say, have you heard of this anime? And literally everyone who's ever heard of anime has
except
heard
for maybe me.
Right. So like, I'm watching Demon Slayer. And
yes, dude. I love that one. I just finished that up
Classic.
not too long ago.
And I initially couldn't get into it. Every time I would try to watch it, I would like fall asleep by the third episode.
Yeah.
And now for some reason it just clicked, and now it's like, okay, now I'm like about episode 11, and I'm really kind of digging it. I'm on the first season, of course, but that's what I've been watching today. I have been playing. Oh man, let's see here. Final Fantasy 16. I've been playing. I am probably maybe got like 3/4 of the way through the game, about 50 hours in.
Oh, nice.
Right now I'm mostly just grinding experience ability points so I can unlock and master all the skills, because once you master a skill, you can then kind of like mix and match your build so that you can kind of like put certain skills in certain places instead of being forced to use like all the abilities that only come with one icon. So for those who play the game, you probably know what I'm talking about. I've been playing that.
Let me ask you a question real quick on a side note. On the combat, are you enjoying the combat? Because I heard people complaining like it's like one button presses and it's quick time
not
events.
one button press. The people who are doing that are the people who have the little I'm a little kid rings on, basically. So when you
there's like training wheels area.
Yeah, they got the training wheels on.
That would be probably me.
In the game. There's a ring that would do all the combos and do all like with Psycho. As soon as you get a skill that's off a cooldown, it'll throw the skill out there.
Good to know.
Essentially, yeah, you can play the game by just hitting the one button and hitting dodge every now and then, but like you're basically playing with like the easiest on easy mode. You're playing on journalist mode at that point. Yeah, you're playing on journalist mode at that point. So anyone who says it's just two buttons, they either haven't played the game or you know exactly what they're doing out here. They got
I got you. You calling SloMo, calling people out. I got you.
That's it. It is an easy game though. Like you don't need that stuff. You can take it off, and like you shouldn't have any difficulty. The only time I ever have any difficulty with anything is some of the monsters. They have like these hunts, so you can hunt like bosses that are like really high level. I've only had issues with one monster called Atlas. And it was like 10 levels higher than me. And then I had another issue with currently with a dragon that's level 50 and I'm level 41. I'm like, you know what? I don't think
come back to you.
I'm gonna come back to you later. But like
right.
if you're just playing through the game, doing there's occasional side quests, just doing the main story, which is it's got a pretty good story. It's fairly easy. You don't need all that extra stuff. You could, just put on like other things that like say give you maybe like extra attack, or I got this one ring called the Berserker ring, and it just every time I do a perfect dodge, I get my attack proficiency goes higher, so I start doing more damage. So it's
I like that.
It's not as deep of an RPG as I would like it to be. While I would prefer it to be, it's definitely an action RPG, and I understand a lot of people who are deep Final Fantasy fans. I'm a big Final fan. My first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 4 back on the Super Nintendo. So like I've been playing Final Fantasy 4 forever, but like I do understand the people that are like, this isn't what I think Final Fantasy should be. That said, it's still a fun game. It ain't no like game of the year contender kind of game, but it's a fun game to get into and enjoy.
Hey,
I've been playing that. I'm now finally going to finish Jedi Survivor now that I made some changes on my PC, and now I literally I built a new PC. Took some things from my old PC to kind of like supplement my new PC, and now I'm literally going from where I was struggling to maintain 60 FPS on PC to like 150 FPS.
Wow,
so it's just
that's a huge
massive change. Yeah,
SloMo, real quick. There actually is a message for you from Big Mad Mo. Rhetri, read that out, will you?
Yeah, he basically saying what I was saying earlier. Big Bad Mo question: can you finish the bosses? Or finish it with the QTE. That's exactly what I was asking earlier.
Big Mad are like extremely epic, but they are QTE heavy. Like there's one boss fight, but I feel like each like next major boss you fight, it's like it's even longer than the previous ones. Pause. So it's just like even like the last one I did, I was just like, bro, can it just end? This is like phase 10. Can it just end?
Yeah,
Like
I can't.
stop
That kind
coming
of drives me
back,
nuts.
guy. I beat you like 12 times now. I beat you, your icon, you and your icon together tag team. I beat your mama, I beat your sister, everybody. Like, stop
The
fighting
shadow
me.
version of you.
Yeah,
and the
just
shadow
like,
version.
man,
Of
you know, I
Right.
beat you, the sequel. Like, come on, man, just stop
Mhm.
getting up. And it's just like they go on and on sometimes, but it's like I said, it's a fun game. It's a fun game. It's just like it is easy, but it's not like I'm just going to go to sleep and press a button and I'm going to win everything.
Right.
It ain't that easy. So yeah, but yeah,
Good to know.
actually
Glad you're
playing
having a
those
good
games,
time with
man.
it, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Kay? Any
Let's see. So I've been doing a few things this week. As far as TV specifically, let's see here. I just finished watching it, and this is what I do. I let things sit for quite some time, and then I take a weekend and I binge a bunch of different things, both good and bad. You know, I'm unabashed. I'll watch the most terrible movie you can think of and have a great time with it. So I watched a TV show called the Night Agent on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good.
I thought it was good.
I actually liked
I thought
it.
it was solid.
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was pretty solid. Yeah, it eventually turned into like superhero territory, like where
yeah.
it was like 24, where they kidnapped
Very
him.
24.
They
They
waterboarded him. All the things that would take weeks of recovery, but that was an hour ago, and he's fine now. That was
Right.
Yeah. That's true.
But but it was still super entertaining,
Some
and
money.
lots of twists and turns and things like that. So yeah, that's recommended. I'm still actually on my playlist, my watch list, I should say, to watch today is Extraction 2, followed by starting of the next season of The Witcher. Because come on now, you gotta do that, so.
Absolutely.
But the reason why it's on my to-do list and I haven't done it is because while the Rogue Ally gang has been like trying to gang up on me, I have been enjoying my
Gang up or join you? I feel like a lot of people coming into the fold.
Well, the thing is, they want to come into the fold, but they don't want to come into the fold and just enjoy gaming. They want to come into the fold and say, no, you should have a Rogue Ally, and this is not that.
I got you.
And that is threatening to them.
Right.
It's too funny.
Is that doesn't look like a Steam Deck? What is that?
No. This is not the Steam Deck. So while people were
Valve,
like, hey,
the Valve stop, the checks from Valve stop. You guys,
They're bouncing now. They're bouncing black.
So during the whole conversation about the next gen of these handhelds, I was like, okay, let me look around for the next gen of the handhelds. And I was also on the train of, hey, the ROG Ally looks very interesting and very cool. But then I came across this device. Now, this is literally the ROG Ally in all but name, except for a few key important differences that made me choose it instead of the Ally. Like, it's a small company. Don't expect magic as far as software or whatever. Even the ROG Ally beats it as far as software. And people have complained about software.
What's the name of the company?
The company's called AOK Zoe. It's a Chinese company, small company. It's basically like one company that has two divisions. One, they make the OX player as well as this as well, the AOK Zoe. And basically, for those who know, the chip in the Z1, which is the ROG Ally's chip, basically is this same chip. This actually performs a little,
but not the extreme, like the regular Z1 or the Z1.
Well, see, that's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. I think they kind of Celeron and the 7000 series and called it the Z1. Yeah, because what's happening here is this has the same performance. This has the same performance as the Z1, and this also has like a microprocessor for future. What are they calling it? They're trying to do their version of DLSS, so they have the on this chip, but the Z1s don't. Why would you call it the Z1 Extreme and give it all this fanfare, and it has less performance than the one that's in here? But needless to say, it's about the same performance. Difference is the Ally has 16 gigs. This is 32. The Ally has a 7-inch screen. This has an 8-inch screen. The Ally has the same battery as the Steam Deck. This has twice the battery of the Steam Deck. So it's like, so it's like the same specs, only twice as much of everything. And the software is terrible.
Low power. Does it get like the low power modes and all that?
All the low power modes, all of the bells and whistles you'd expect from the Ally, you can find here because it's at the chip level and they're the same chip. So whatever they can do.
You said the battery is also terrible. I mean, I'm sorry, the software. No, you said it's good. The software.
Yeah, the software is also terrible, but the plus on that is This is Windows. What you're looking at right now has nothing to do with what they did. This is all me. You can go put any front end you want, run it how you want. I've been playing Fist on this. I don't know if you guys have played the game.
Not
Fist.
yet, but that looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on
PlayStation.
PlayStation for a little while. Now it's on Xbox. I'm playing. This is basically the Game Pass version of it. On the PC store, you boot it up. Game is beautiful. Plays so great. It's a Metroidvania. You get really cool powers every 5 minutes as you're playing. So I have been like, I'm testing this out. 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, an hour, and then I had to stop because ILP.
Right.
If you're watching ILP and in between you see me go off cam, it's like,
we know what you're doing.
Needless to say, yeah. So that's what I've been busy with. I'm really enjoying this thing. I think it's cool. I actually have a surgery I'm scheduled to do in a little while. I'm gonna put a 2 terabyte drive in it.
A little upgrade, yeah.
Yes, and that's another cool thing that this thing can do that the Ally can't. Well, 2 more things. This can put a normal hard drive in it, whereas the Ally needs the tiny versions of the M.2. You can put a standard M.2 in this one. And secondly, and finally, the Ally, you have to put that proprietary external drive in it to put an extra hard drive in it, right? An extra graphics card. This one is a standard port, so you can literally take your PC's graphics card, put it in an enclosure, plug it in, and you can use that. So it's got some cool stuff that I'm testing out, and I'm enjoying my PC MR-ness and all that. So that's what I'm doing. Yes.
Awesome. Bushido, brother. What have you been playing? Any TV shows, movies, any of that junk that you're been into lately?
Well, I'm caught up on Demon Slayer already, so I can't really say anything since SloMo's here and he's just getting started with it. I'm loving it though. Also, I have started a new anime called was it Gundam Witch of Mercury, which was surprisingly pretty good. So I'm just starting season 2. I'm like Kay. I like for shows to just about end, and I could just sit down and binge as many episodes as I want, and then watch it again. Start it up again the next day. Another one I'm into is From. It's on
hell
Epics.
Yeah, Bushido, let's go,
bro.
I've been trying to push that show to everybody.
The show is
good.
really, really freaking good.
The second time I've heard someone say that was good. I guess I gotta check that out. That's on Amazon. Is it on Amazon?
Epics, I think it was. Right?
Yeah,
it's
like
like
Epics.
MGM. It's like MGM
Epics.
Plus or something like that.
Right.
Epics that became MGM Plus.
Yeah, it's actually really good. We're in the season. They're into season 2 now. It's like a cheaper version of Lost.
Yes,
in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, but
With
it's
monsters.
pretty good though. I really enjoyed it.
Monsters.
yeah, exactly. You could kind of put the pieces together, and most of their theory that they have right now that the characters have is exactly the theory I had in the beginning, but it's still some pieces missing, and I'm trying to still put it together. But I like it though. I actually really like the show. I think that's it as far as TV. I'm with K also too. I need to watch Extraction 2. I actually had it planned for today myself also, so I don't think I'm gonna watch it just because K's gonna watch it now.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna copy it. No, I'm not gonna let anybody say, "No, you copy K." But but I keep hearing it. I keep hearing it's really good.
You're starting to sound like Umbra, sir. You're starting to sound like Umbra.
Yeah, claiming he was the first for everything.
Now you're gonna start. You're gonna make me sing because you're feeling the role.
Hey, listen, he does it inside the Xbox chats too. When we're playing the game and everything, we're cracking jokes on each other, and here he goes. We're like, "Oh, come on, man!"
If you give him the open door to sing, he's gonna take it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, don't mention no songs, don't hum nothing. Yeah,
no whistling while you're working. He's gonna
not at all.
Now the only thing we have to do now is mention Unreal Engine 5, and he'll just pop up in the chat.
Oh, that's another. Listen, that is not a joke. That is not a joke. He talks about Unreal Engine 5 too. Don't get me wrong, I'm on that train too. Yeah, that is his thing. That it really is his thing. He will tell you. He will go and quote it the same way he does on other shows, like the illustrious UE5 and so forth. So yeah, he's for real on that.
The stutter engine.
Yeah. He will tell you no UE5 slander. He'll tell you that in a minute. I'm watching the which is, let's see, I already submit Witcher Mercury, and right now I was trying to play Days Gone. I find that game incredibly
Is it boring for
boring.
you? Yeah.
Oh my god!
I remember
it is
somebody
really
goes. I remember
boring.
someone tells me, "Listen, like, right around the 19-hour mark." I was immediately like, "What the fuck did you just say?" Right around the 19-hour. No,
19 hours.
People said the same thing. They said you put about 20,
Last
25
12
hours
in
in.
that game.
I said, why do I have to wait that long to get into the game?
Yeah.
Yo, bro, season 8, man, that's when it gets good, son. Come on, season 8.
Like, come on, get out of here.
It literally isn't. That's literally what people keep saying.
I can't wait for
Oh
that.
my god! They're like, oh, once you get past that point, the game gets good. And I was like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'll try it again later. You know what I mean? Hey, Big Bad Mo, you were right. One Piece is the greatest. The other one is let me see. So I stopped playing that, and I am playing Fist, and I absolutely love the game. I mean, the
Nice. I
game
cannot
is
wait to start
really
playing
crazy
that.
fun. No, bro, you will enjoy. It is a Metroidvania game.
That's what I want.
You get lots of tools, you get a few abilities, but the game is just so much fun fighting
kicks
these
your
certain
butt, though.
bosses and everything. It's
I
not
heard
too
it's
hard
good.
either.
Oh, you
Yeah.
think pussy? All right.
It does.
We got
Oh, no,
two
it
different opinions
does.
here. Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, I ran into this one boss, I'll say. I don't know if it's a mini boss or a boss, but I got two of the weapons that they give you, and my man's kicking my behind, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be back. I'm not gonna forget you. I'm gonna be back. So
Let's go
yeah,
find
the
something
game
else
was-
and come back.
Yeah. That's what I would say to myself. I said, it's got to be something I gotta find. So when I find it, then I'm coming back and we gonna talk. So yeah, I would highly recommend. I saw what the reviews were for it, and it was kind of like on 7s and everything. I'm actually kind of have to give it an 8, and I'm not even finished.
Mhm.
Like I really enjoyed the game.
Everybody I know that's like G may be in here, Big Bad Mo. Like a lot of people are saying that it's really good. Like everyone I've
is.
talked to is recommending it, and it's definitely on my radar, right up there with Big Bad Mo mentioning Bramble. I think Bramble looks.
Bramble's
cool
on
too.
mine too. Yeah, Bramble's next.
Probably a game that got lower scores than it probably deserved,
Right.
but we'll see. I'm definitely
Yeah.
gonna test both of those out because they, before. In between Diablo 4 and before Starfield, hopefully. Like that's the thing. It's
Yeah,
like,
right.
You got to get past these games and move on to the things. That
Well, I gotta hurry up and
suck your
beat those
life
two
away.
because the next game next is Remnant 2. So I gotta get
that's
that in.
soon.
And
So.
I hear
definitely
Remnant
not.
2 is a big game. Like, and it's
Bro,
those
Remnant-
who love the first Remnant. This
Yeah.
was like a huge if Remnant
Like,
1,
step
if the
up.
one you love was
Yeah.
like the first
Yep.
Senua, this is the second one. Like that level of ramp
Yeah.
up. So it
It was good that it was on Game Pass. That was a game that
Yeah.
really needed Game Pass because it was good. And people didn't know it until we played it on Game Pass. Now I'm seeing everybody playing it, Shady and a whole bunch of other guys playing it just now.
Now I'm about to be all like, well, actually, and be all highbrow and be like, well, I played it in the OG version.
Okay, Umbra.
No,
You
do
were the
that.
first.
Do that. Be like, yeah, I was in there before all
played
y'all
it in
knew
the
about
OG.
it.
Well, no. Here's where I go. I played an OG iteration when it was a VR game. That's how it started. Most people don't know that because it's true. It's called.
Yeah, they had
Chronos.
another one before that one.
In
Yeah,
VR.
that's right.
Yes. And
That's
it was
right.
awesome, and it had monsters the size of
That's right.
like huge monsters. And then, of course, Remnant took off, and it's more awesome and all that.
Yeah.
And they left VR behind.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous. I'm still enjoying it. I like it.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm looking forward to Remnant 2. I hear it's
Yeah,
like
it's-
very, very good.
It's the Souls
Yeah, I never
looks-
played
it
the
looks
first one,
it.
so
and if you haven't played the first one, I definitely recommend playing it.
Highly.
It's a bit difficult if you're by yourself,
Mhm.
but if
Oh,
you play
especially
with-
by yourself.
it's so much fun when you play it with a group. I played it with
Yeah.
shout out to the Ash and Luca. I beat her like co-op the entire game, and we basically beat it twice because the way the first game was set up, it was like you only got progress if you're the host. So we would do up to a certain point and then switch to the other person. But just like some of those boss fights, oh man, like I will never forget you probably remember the one boss fight where like the boss is like smashing the ground. He's making holes in the arena, and you go fall through the holes.
Yeah.
And it's like we just kept dodge rolling straight into the hole, and it was just like.
Yep, that's it.
That's here we go, starting again. Like those boss fights would get crazy, but it's
Hey, you get bosses that other guys don't get too. on my own on even if you beat the game, you go through it again. There's certain people that you'll pop up like, wait, where'd this guy come from? There was one that looked like a mutant ninja turtle, and my man, we never beat him. My man would disappear into this mist, and then he would multiply. And then once he multiplied, like that part wasn't the hard part. The hard part was he would then elevate over everyone, and then he'd multiply in the air. You had to find the right one to kill it. If not, he just lit the whole room up and killed everybody. We never beat that guy.
It took us a few attempts. We finally got him. Yeah, like
man,
this is the other great thing about it. There's RNG in the bosses, so like you hit certain points where you would have to fight a boss, but it's not always the same boss. And we figured that out. Yeah.
And on that note, that's what makes Remnant 2 so ambitious. Supposedly they're taking that idea that no two experiences are the same in a very, very broad direction. They're giving you more depth in that. You know, so no two people can play the same game, and supposedly it's very, very ambitious.
And there's more defined classes now too.
Yes, exactly. One last thing. For those who are interested in it, it's either always very cheap or Epic Game Store tends to give it away.
Yeah, absolutely.
First
I got it for free from Epic Game Store.
So those of you with the handhelds who say no PC
Master
you can at least play it on your ROG Ally. It's free. It's pretty awesome. So you should check it out. Yeah.
All right, Rhetri, you got anything you've been playing?
For me, it's been Diablo, and
Fortnite.
I squeeze in Fortnite on the weekends.
And Fortnite, yes.
Just because I was
watching your Fortnite stream yesterday.
Yeah, I just need to. It's because of Optimus Prime, and I need to just go through the stupid battle pass because naturally he's at the very ass end of it. He's at the ass end of it because he couldn't be in the beginning. Make it easy on me.
Hey, that's honestly, if you're doing the battle pass, that's the smartest way to go about it. What's this one skin that everybody wants? You put it at the end of the battle pass. Go ahead and grab that.
They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. Epic knows a thing or two about making money.
Right. I've been playing Fortnite too. I just haven't been on it as often. Well, mostly what I've been doing is kind of like, because you turn on DX12, you turn on that Lumen and the Nanite. You turn on the ray tracing. It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
You want to test your hardware?
Slow?
Yeah, that's true.
After I joined the old 49, we were talking about it, turned it on. Even us graybeards have to admit, I gotta play Fortnite. I may need a Sherpa. It is so beautiful.
Good. Just join us one night, man. We'll walk you through it. Yeah, like we'll ease you in. Man. It's beautiful, and it's honestly, I waited on it way too long. Huge mistake. It's my favorite. It's my favorite shooter in years. It has bypassed Halo for me. It's bypassed COD. It's bypassed everything. And I'm a shooter
Halo.
Guy.
Wow.
I'm not going to go that far, but I feel you. I feel you.
Moonwalking over
an underrated
pussies.
It's an underrated shooter.
Rhetri,
very much so.
What I was saying
back.
They're good. They can handle it. I only say the P word to those who can handle it. It's all good. I know you guys love the Halos. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm leaving the show. He said Halo's bad. Bye.
Epic has a great cadence to changing it up. And what they do is, like, it's not just the same weapons all the time.
Yeah,
like they always keep it fresh. They'll vault some weapons, or they'll bring new weapons in, or they'll bring a weapon back that you haven't seen in like 2 seasons or in an entire chapter. And it always keeps things fresh. They always have different ways of adding mobility for you to move around the map, and it always ties into something that has to do with like the popular stuff that's going on. Spider-Man movie's about to come out. Hey, there's spider web swinger, the web shooters that you can get in the map and web swing across the map. It's just like they are so on it.
They're on it. They did that with Attack on Titan. Anything's like something gets popular, it's like they already knew it was going to be popular. It's very odd. Like they're all over that stuff.
Guys, I'm getting ready to take over the show for just a second.
Go for it.
Because I can.
While you
So,
do that, I'm actually going to turn off my fan because it's actually getting freezing in here. So
all right, after you turn off your fan, let me know that you're back because I actually didn't ask you about
All
this, but I want you to read all these.
okay, I will. I'll be back in like
What a
10
great-
seconds. Not
What a
even.
great guy. No worry. Go for it. So anyway, we want to do a special thank you to Hitman, who last week
All right,
gifted
let's butcher some names. Sorry.
Hitman last week. He gifted a total of 20 member chats. So
Nice.
greatly appreciate that. So Rhetri, if you don't mind, shout out all the members we have on our members so far. So it's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Of course, my boy Silent Cypher up in here who plays the games with me on our channel, of course. We got Hitman who gifted pretty much everybody here. So appreciate you, Hitman. I don't know if you're in the room, but if you are, love you, man. Sabriel, I am gonna see this is where the butchering
Just
starts.
the first name, that's fine. Just
Sabriel-
keep going. Keep going.
Sabriel. Yeah, we got Lynn Abrams, Colin Prime, sorry. Tone, like that. Prince Green, that's a good name. Lore Master Jasper. This went to some really good people. I like this. Ricky Ruiz, Doc 50, the Blue Goof Oats, Duke Togo 13, Massol 1977. What's up, brother? I know that guy is a good guy. Big Mad Mo, nice. Dova 360, awesome. Peeve 1973, RSJ fan, that's my girl. OSD Gamer, what's up, brother? Talos went to Joe Bailey as well. Shaun T, what's going on, brother? And G Maybe, and What You Buying? I like that name. I
So
don't know if I
yeah, so
recognize that one.
just wanted to say thanks again for him for doing that, and also shout out to now you're a channel member. So hopefully you guys will stick around and continue to do that. You can start off as low as $2.99, and you get these awesome icons and things like that we're using. We're actually getting ready in a couple of weeks. We're going to do our first members only show. Sounds kind of wrong, doesn't it? Rhetri gonna come in a tank top.
It's gonna be weird, guys.
But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun, and then of course, like a week later, then it will drop for everybody to watch. But it's gonna be an exclusive show just for channel members, and we may have a special guest, and it'll be certain topics, and we'll have actually a lot of the actual members will be on the show to have a lot of fun. We'll mix them in and out. So that'll
If you
be
guys want to, if you want to join us during that special show, you are more than welcome, and we'll feed you into the show like slowly if a bunch of you guys want on, and if you don't, we'll just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about as usual. But yeah, it's going to be fun. We want to give something back to our members, of course.
Definitely.
So we're going to be doing this every single month, and hopefully we'll come up with some more little perks as well. As
And
time
a
goes
big
on,
shout
so.
out to C Money, his whole family, and everybody that's in the chat. There's so many right now. I can't really go through and mention everybody. And of course, what does Silent Cypher do for us? He gives us our first super chat of the evening.
Silent Cypher, $2 Cypher chat, members. We're so easy here. Doesn't take
Pause.
much to entertain us.
Okay, Rhetri, what is our first subject, buddy?
Well, our first subject is kind of bouncing off of last week, which was the FTC versus Microsoft and the hearing. We're going to talk about that, but what I kind of wanted to do was really just kind of go off the cuff and talk about the actual closing arguments that happened. I don't know who here actually wasted over 30 hours of their time like I did, listening to all the jargon going back and forth between these lawyers. But if you did, great. If not, you can hear the things that I'm going to say that were said during this hearing, and we can discuss it and get your opinions on that as well, guys. Were any of you listening to this besides me, just out of curiosity?
I was.
I'm
Yeah,
curious to
listening
know
to
if anyone was
And
Listen
the
to
closing
all of it.
arguments were the absolute best. That last 2 hours was
Oh, yeah.
fucking amazing.
Got in on the Zoom call. Like,
Oh, you
had
did?
it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I had it up and running like all the days I was listening. And there were days that Everborn would like get kicked out of his Zoom chat, and then you'd hit the 1,000 member
1,000, yeah.
limit, and then he'd call and make me put it on my speakers so he could listen to it through my phone. This is what we did, because we're here and I'm working at the same time. It was crazy.
Right.
Had a good
You are a
Yeah.
good
we were
friend,
good.
sir. You are a good friend.
Yeah, I did not get a chance to listen. I did. I am in a group DM of like 5 million people with K.ASANTA, and they were like giving me the play-by-play. Like literally, it was like Phil has scratched his nose and answered the
Phil
question.
is
I'm
wearing
like,
a blue tie.
I feel like I am there, like I feel like I can
Mhm.
imagine it,
Yep.
just like
Mhm.
the table that he's sitting at is a nice burnished brown wood. I'm like, good grief, the detail.
Phil is standing up and arranging his crotch. Okay.
Oh my God.
He's more comfortable.
right.
Uh,
But I feel like I know enough of what happened, even though I wasn't actually listening.
I'm going to mention some things that happened, at least some things that were said, and we're going to comment on them because I don't want to stay on this subject too long because we talked about the FTC versus Microsoft last week as well. But this is more about the closing arguments, which the internet is very much split. Probably, I don't know, 60-40. I don't know how to read Twitter right now, but there's a decent amount of people that think Microsoft lost during this, and I'm scratching my head going, do you all watch the same thing and listen to the same thing that I just saw? Well, let me go over some things that were said. This one, they kept harping on, of course, Sony's harping on the whole Call of Duty possibly going exclusive. So Judge Corley, who is awesome, so no matter what she chooses to do here, given the injunction or not, she seems like a straight up person to me, whether we win this or lose this, however you see it. She said, would we even be sitting here if Sony had just signed a Call of Duty deal with Microsoft? I mean, it's things like that, and there was a lot of things just like this that make me go, this feels like she's siding with Microsoft because she's just saying a lot of the logical things that are already in my head, and she was saying them out loud. What do you guys think about her saying things like, if Sony had just signed a Call of Duty deal with Microsoft, would we be even in here? I'll start with UK. Like, do you think that's telling at all?
I mean, you'd hope it'd be telling, right? you'd hope it would be telling. I think the problem that people have in this process is that the ground has shifted beneath our feet enough times that we've learned better. We know better, right? Because in cases like this, you'd hope that the beginning and the middle and the end that would be required for any of this kind of arbitration is more specifically on the merits of it. But by and large, time and time again, we've seen that that's the very last thing that everyone thinks about, right? We've heard all the back and forth, and when you hear them, what was the thing that was said? Oh, the consumer was used far less than any other thing.
Yeah,
word that in the
versus Sony
during the
right.
versus Sony exactly during the proceedings. I am not one for likes and clicks and Twitter slander. She happened to say it, and I happened to copy it down. Quote: "We aren't all. Why aren't all gamers in 2023 not playing on a PC?"
That killed. I was laughing when she said that.
I put that out there.
She all thought we bought like $1,000 or $1,500 PC during the pandemic. I mean, she might be onto something, but it's funny because I remember I commented on your tweet and I was like, does she think we all have judge money? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you know what? I look at it as maybe she looked at, being a non-gamer, and she just looked at like coming into all this information, and she made the very logical, common sense question to herself of, why wouldn't you be a PC gamer? I mean, why would you have?
It seems to be the common denominator, right? It seems to be, right? So yeah.
I mean, she did kind of let slip. Sorry to interrupt you, but she did let slip that she thought the Nintendo was better than Xbox and PlayStation. She's like, because you can like take it with you. It's better, right? Like she's asking the lawyer, it's better, right? Like they're gonna say yes, it's better.
Right.
Yeah. It was just really, really interesting listening to outsiders presumably adjudicate what you do and deal with on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff they got away with, some of the stuff they got wrong, all the weird stuff they harped on. I just thought it was so interesting. The only thing that even to this day kind of is like a splinter in my mind that rubs me wrong, Nintendo's Switch is the 9th mainline console to be released by Nintendo, aka the 9th gen Nintendo hardware.
Right.
That is how it is determined, not by its power spec, not by how it's seen in the market, none of that. Which one was the last mainline one they released? This is the 9th. That makes it their 9th gen console. They happen to release it earlier than the others, but that has nothing to do with anything.
No choice.
It's their
That
9th version.
doesn't
Because
that
their
doesn't
8th
matter
gen
when you go to Walmart,
console
right?
was dead in
Because
the
their
water.
8th gen console
Yeah.
came and dropped immediately,
Right.
right? So the idea that after days and days and days of getting it wrong, no one went, well, actually, come on now. It's the 9th gen console, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Just some little weird things that kind of just
Well, they were
slipped through,
trying to
and I
make
was
up
just,
their
you know,
whole. They were trying to make up
Yeah.
their own market that doesn't
Exactly.
exist in the real world, like doing the whole
and you know
powerful
what?
console.
Speaking of that market, that's also another weird one for me. And maybe somebody can explain that to me. I've been paying close attention, trying to really understand what this whole process is about.
Mhm.
If the FTC is correct in slicing Nintendo out of the pie and making it solely a high performance market with
Speak on it.
Microsoft versus
I wonder
Sony,
if you're going to say
right?
what I said. Go
Doesn't that automatically mean that they can just take all of this away? Because if that's the case, they're even in worse shape. They're looking at like Sony the monopoly, because they
Yep.
own all of the pie
Yep.
at that point. If you
Yeah,
take
same thing I said.
Nintendo out of it, right?
Yeah, it's a weird dichotomy. Like, I don't understand
Yeah.
it either. I think it's maybe about
Exactly.
being in third. I don't know if the argument for Microsoft is to make them look
It
like
doesn't
they're
matter
last.
whether because if you look at the full pie, right, it's a terrible pie for Microsoft.
Right.
If you add
Yes.
Nintendo, it kind of diversifies them a bit. But the minute
Right.
you take Nintendo away, it's a sliver to a whole cake in comparison, right?
Right.
And then at that same time, you then use your numbers, which we all know you pulled out of you know where, but even your
Mhm.
numbers, not Microsoft's numbers, your numbers say that all of it will ultimately lead to 5.5% of the existing, not the existing PlayStation base, the existing Call of Duty fan base, which is a subset of the full base, switching to Xbox. If they foreclose,
Isn't
now,
that what
do
you're
the-
supposed to like?
Well, but hold on now.
Pro competition. Isn't that a good
One
thing?
second. But it's not foreclosed because they're gonna make the next one exclusive. No. That would only happen in the model that they're talking about if they foreclose, as in the new one doesn't come and all the old ones get removed.
Right.
That's what
Yeah,
they
that's a good
mean by
point.
foreclose. So
Yeah.
Microsoft gets Call of Duty and they go, all right, players, goodbye, and then removes all of the old versions off of the PlayStation Store. Then in that scenario, up to about 5.5% of PlayStation Call of Duty gamers possibly would switch. So in a world where UFTC count two console giants and you have this pie of 95-5, and then you're going to let these guys get 5.5%. That's why we need to hold the line and fight you? Like,
I know.
it makes no logical sense. Even if they foreclose everything, they're only getting 5%, being a bit more competitive. Why would you
What
stand?
did you say? K.ASANTA? what did you say?
Let them know you
It
guys are
makes-
in my DM. King, what will we do? We will hold the line.
And that's where you're going.
Good musician.
But you know what I'm saying? But you know, like that's why like all of this is so interesting to me. I honestly don't have a real dog in this fight. If you ask me what great Call of Duty, what great Activision franchise that I'm like so happy to get back to, it was. If you asked me 3 weeks ago, it was going to be Guitar Hero, but now it's not even Guitar Hero, because I have found that the community who have been waiting for them to make Guitar Hero got sick and tired of it and made their own. There's a thing called Clone Hero out there,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
heard
Guitar
about it,
Hero,
yep.
right? So I'm like, all right, I don't even need them anymore. I'm good now. I have no need for that, right? It's just the sense of like people say, why people get animated. It's the sense of decency. Like, it's so logical, this thing, right? If you're gonna deny it, give me a valid reason that makes my logical brain goes, okay, it makes sense.
Right.
None of that has happened right now. But to close up my filibuster, I will say, if nothing else, to your point, Rhetri, Judge Corley has shown that she has a really good commanding understanding of the situation. Even though she's not a gamer per se, she has a good grasp of it. So whether she grants or doesn't grant the injunction, I don't think anybody will be calling foul, right? Like her
Right.
son
And
works for Microsoft.
If you listen to
and-
this, I know.
Well, this is the
Yeah.
last week. Her son
That's a good
works for
point.
Microsoft, and the FTC's lawyer works for SIE. So
Yeah,
it's all in the wash.
That's a good point. I like that he
Saying?
works for SIA, which that's what it
Yes,
felt
he
like,
did.
for sure. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the FTC was grilling Microsoft on if it would be harmed if Microsoft acquired Activision, if consumers, would be harmed if Microsoft Activision Blizzard was acquired, particularly on how many, like they were discussing how many PlayStation players would switch to Xbox if Activision's key game, being Call of Duty, actually disappeared. I don't know what Bushido, I want to kind of run that scenario, even though this is a BS argument because there's a flipping 10-year contract sitting waiting to be signed for Call of Duty, because FTC just kept harping on what if they take it away? It could be beneficial. Do you see a mass exodus or even like a high percentage of people moving from Xbox to PlayStation in the scenario that it would, I'm saying in the scenario that COD was actually gone? In FTC's pretend world that they're playing, do you think a lot of people would switch?
I'm trying to remember if it was one of the lawyers or the judge that made the point that they couldn't see a huge amount jumping like that. And like you said, the number that he pulled out, which is out his rear end, no, I couldn't see that at all. I could see maybe 10%, maybe 15, which would still be a good amount for Xbox in the
it would be huge.
States.
I mean, it's
for the
millions
states,
upon
huge,
millions of people. Yeah,
but outside of that, I think that especially the UK is really just solidified as a PlayStation territory. I don't think it's too much that Xbox can do. You might get a nice little piece out of that, but outside of that, no, I don't see it being that big unless except for in the US. That's the only place I think that's where the biggest part, which is still, like I said, 15% would actually be pretty nice for Xbox, because if you know this from year to year, the count is usually 53,000 to 55 million to 53 million as far as like Xbox and PlayStation, and a move like that could help shift it to being just about even.
Right. Which would be like what's the word I'm looking for?
Right.
Competition. Like
competition. There you go.
It's like, oh, we don't want them to lose numbers. They might actually be head to head.
That's what got me with
why
the
is that
judge.
a problem?
Yeah, she was on that though about the whole competition thing, and more about the fact that, hey, why are we so concerned about PlayStation and their lead? Why isn't it that we're worried about the consumer? That right there, to me, is what solidified in my head. Look, things went well in the court case. That was one of the most what's the word for entertaining court cases I've ever seen before, with a lot of the stupid moves from the lawyers, and some of the good questions. What I would love someone to ask is that if COD was just going off of there altogether, how come nobody mentions that they have Destiny 2? Like, nobody brought up Destiny 2 as a rival shooter, which in my opinion is. It's not as big as Call of Duty as far as money making is concerned, but name concern, it is. It's the only thing with
I think
Destiny
it is. I think it is in our heads and to us.
In our heads, hardcore gamers,
right. I think if you bring that up in court, then Microsoft would have got slammed just with the amount of money. Then it's multiply.
But that's the part. But that's the part that I got quote on, was that it's not about the fact that it's exclusive. It's the fact that it's a money maker.
Yep.
And that was what the deal was, that they were hanging on about COD. Not that COD would just be terrible as far as marketing concerned, or the optics for it. No, it was about how much money they made and how much money they were able to make more games. And when you look at Destiny's revenue is actually very good on a yearly basis. So I was surprised that no one looked at that. And I don't think that too much of that could have reversed Uno'd onto Microsoft's case, in my opinion. But at the same time, I was just surprised that was never brought up at all that they
Yeah,
just acquired them, and there's a rival. This is a rival. We're not saying that it makes as much. The whole point is a rival, and that one right
Mhm.
there is a rival to Call of Duty.
Yeah, like
I
kind
mean,
of pointing out, hey, other games exist in the world outside of Call
Right.
of Duty, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that the reason why that argument was hard for them to make is that they were successful at making the argument that Call of Duty, even though I personally think it's ridiculous that that's the argument, but it seems like they were successful in making the argument that Call of Duty is so big that it's bigger than almost any
They
other
did.
franchise
They
ever.
did.
So
Yep.
any other game
Yeah.
is just, oh, that's just a game, but Call of
Yeah.
Duty is special.
They called
Right.
it
Yeah.
a
There
unicorn.
there
The
was-
judge called it a
exactly,
unicorn too,
right?
straight from
Yeah.
her
Yeah,
mouth.
so
She
much
did.
so
No,
that
she did.
it was impossible then to compare it against anything else. Which is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just glad that there was some stuff, and I know like we sit here and we pretend like Microsoft's the good guys, but we know now for a fact that they looked at Bethesda and all the Activision games, including Call of Duty, as possibly just taking. They did look at taking it off of PlayStation and the benefits of just putting on Game Pass, which can be looked at as a negative thing. But like I was saying to Dave earlier in the green room, that just makes sense. Who the hell's not going to run the numbers on that? You got to do a pros and
right.
cons list, and then at the end of the day, they found, well, putting COD on PlayStation is good for them. But the FTC screwed up like they did multiple times, and they let information slip that was not supposed to go to the public. And that was the FTC suddenly did a slip where Microsoft would need an additional 2 million Xbox Game Pass subscribers a year to offset an unknown drop in Call of Duty royalty rates from PlayStation. So that was something that we were not supposed to know about. The FTC did this multiple times. They also they did the same thing when they mentioned the deal with Call of Duty at an 80-20 split versus the normal 70-30 industry standard, letting all the other devs across the world know that Call of Duty got a better deal than the rest of you, which naturally is probably going to piss off some other devs. So the FTC kept screwing up and giving away some inside baseball information. But I thought it was interesting that there was this whole 2 million Xbox Game Pass subscriber number that they came out with to offset any Call of Duty royalty rates from PlayStation, which I thought was pretty interesting. I don't see why they would do something like that. When can you make money off of PlayStation indefinitely? Because that seems like a short-term fix, personally. But there was a lot of stuff during this trial that came out. Like that main part of FTC's case was content and exclusivity was designed to push Game Pass and therefore would harm competitors like Sony, which they kept saying Sony's name over and over and over again. In their closing argument, they didn't mention much about harm to consumers, though, and that's what you mentioned earlier, Bushido, with Judge Corley pointed out at the end of the hearing, I quote, "It's not the harm to Sony we care about, it's the harm to consumers. Then let's go to break," basically. Like that was the last thing she said before they went to break. Which
and the
I
first
thought
thing
was
Sony,
very
or
telling.
Sony, the first thing the FTC addressed when they came back was
that.
This is what we meant. And then what's the very next thing out of the mouth? Sony. Their very next
literally, dude, it was like
so
tail in between the legs, like after the break. Yeah, like Dave said, they had to come back and literally tell the judge, well, we didn't mean it like that. We're more like they're
if I'm not mistaken, the logic was when they came back, I know what it sounds like paraphrasing, but basically it was because the market in console space has an outsized what do you call it, market share to PlayStation versus Microsoft. Hurting Sony inherently hurts gamers because there's more of them there. Right. That was the logic.
Makes no sense in my opinion.
Exactly.
I mean, it makes sense when it's not there. It doesn't make sense when there's a 10-year contract, right? Like that's what I just keep coming back to. And I think what I liked about this judge, and God, I hope I'm right, it feels like she's gonna side on Microsoft, is just logic. Just she kept going, like she kept saying, this is one of the things she said. Judge Corley mentioned that 62%. This is the judge. 62% of all PlayStation owners don't play Call of Duty at all, referencing data from Elizabeth Bailey, the PhD, who was Microsoft's economic expert, by the way, she fucking killed it. She says, this is from the judge, they're not going to miss it. The foreclosures won't affect them. The judge wanted to establish why Call of Duty was important and whether the FTC's economic expert, who was Robin Lee, who did, in my opinion, not so good,
He did horrible.
had actually, she said, did he actually look at the real world data in his models? Like, it was like one dig after another dig. Like, that's all I heard during these
So the difference was
final arguments.
So if it wasn't, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Lee used sales data to do his extrapolation,
Mhm.
and Dr. Bailey, which is Microsoft's expert, used
Mhm.
telemetry, which is literally when
Right.
you don't say make my console private, they're using your data. They use human, actual people playing on console data to extrapolate what you will and will not do versus how much you sold it and all of that. So obviously there'd be apples and oranges comparisons made there. It's just funny that they thought that they could thread that needle and make that the ultimate. And the best part about all that is, after they did all that, the console SLC was taken off the table by every other jurisdiction. FTC doesn't want to take it off the table, but they don't want to follow forward in the console SLC anymore because they know it's a losing argument. So they literally rubbed out console, went cloud, and went homework.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
And everybody's like, okay, so you're basically conflating all the homework you've done for console, which is not cloud, and you're putting it and saying it can be interchanged to cloud. And if you do that, that tells you it's not a different market because you're using the same data.
They
Right.
backed themselves into a
Yes.
corner with the cloud, if you ask me.
So it's a very interesting thing they did there.
Definitely. A big shout out to everybody in the chat. Over 90 people in the chat. Thank you all so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. I know Fonz is wrapping up his show, and we have Boss Mod Lethal Papa joining us now. Thank you so much, sir. We love
What's
having
up,
you. The man that has got the band hammer supreme and knows how to use it. I love it. I love it. But he's the most fairest modder there is out there. That's all there is to it. He's awesome. The one thing I'll say about the case, just to everybody to keep this in mind. The burden of proof is on the FTC and not Microsoft, because this is not the final case. This is just to see whether she grants the injunction. And looks like the injunction is not going to be.
Although,
it might be a little
if
bit.
she did grant the
final
injunction,
for It feels a little final for Microsoft.
Because if she
though.
did, well, it's not that it feels final. It's because
Final here.
Bobby K has already basically said it. If the injunction is granted, they're walking away. So if she does grant it, it's a wrap, right?
Like we knew
is.
in some we knew. I didn't see the document, but I heard it reported multiple times that Microsoft might walk away if the hearing doesn't go well for them. And then Bobby straight up freaking said it. He straight up said that the shareholders are ready to walk away, and I was like,
That's
crap.
right.
So I didn't think they would. I personally didn't think they would, so I got that wrong. But yeah, so that's what they're saying.
And oh, by the way, if that were to happen, Microsoft's next move would be to sue the American government for their $3 billion to pay the FTC because they feel like they've said that. They have said that because the FTC has wasted their time and made this process of stalling. So if we lose this because of that, y'all are paying it for it. So I'm just like, oh man, this is crazy.
Exactly. A big shout out to Why So Serious.
Why so serious?
Always wanted to use that drop in there. Thanks for
Very
joining us,
good.
buddy.
Very
Finally
good.
gave him that excuse.
He did. Carry on. Sorry.
There's
The thing that got me was the fact that the judge also too picked up and said that that Game Pass was a fantastic deal.
She did.
That was another thing that kind of cinched it for me, because she noticed again for the consumer. She's worried about the consumer, because if she wasn't worried about the consumer, she wouldn't have brought that up at all. It wouldn't have came up at all. And so when I heard that, I was like, yo, she's really, really on top of her stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, she might not be on the level as far as knowledge as gamers are with what's going on. But to me, for legalese or even people in the FTC, she seems like she's far above them as far as understanding how gaming is perceived by consumers. and I thought that was a huge plus.
Definitely.
That's why I look at it as like it's a done deal in my opinion, because there was too many things like that she spoke out on,
Right.
that I found
That's
that
what I
was like,
noticed, too.
And one thing she did say, I'm paraphrasing here, but she made the comment that that if Sony wanted to compete, couldn't they put their games in day and day?
yes,
Mhm.
that was another one.
Yeah,
And
she
the-
started
Yes.
talking about
These
God
things
of
like-
War. She
Yes.
started knocking them on not doing day and date. It was funny.
Yeah.
The
It was
Thor
like-
game, she kept saying. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
Thor.
Thor game.
That's right.
You
So
know,
to
like,
me, I see it as it's going to be a win. I would be shocked if
I would be
she
too.
came back any other way, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Soon,
Go ahead, SloMo.
Very soon.
You want to say slow?
I do think that the FTC didn't prove, excuse me, didn't prove a case where a preliminary injunction is necessary, or that like the FTC actually even has any really real cause to block this. Because if you look at what their job is supposed to be, this is not creating any kind of antitrust issues. This is not creating a monopoly. And I've seen the argument made by people on Twitter, the people who are opposed to the acquisition, that, oh, they're trying to buy the industry. I'm like, all right, well, look, when they get to the point where they're buying the industry, then you stop them.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
until then,
Yeah, when it
like, you
gets to
can't,
that- when it
you're
gets
pretty
to
much
that point, yeah.
admitting that like this doesn't rise to the occasion of a monopoly. Well, of course, we don't want monopolies. So when it does get to the point where it may be a monopoly, then you legally stop them from having a monopoly. But until then, you can't say, well, we think they might want to go buy Sega, Ubisoft, Bandai Namco, and EA after this, so we're going to stop them from getting Activision. That doesn't make any sense. What does that any of that have to do with this case? That said, it would not surprise me at all if the injunction got put in.
Right.
why.
Right. Go speak on it.
This government, I have seen
Yes.
so many times where
Yep.
I'm looking at a case and I'm just like, well, this is a slam dunk.
Open and
Mhm.
shut.
And then
Yeah,
the
Good point.
judgment comes back and it's the opposite. You're
Bingo.
just like,
Good
why?
point.
Yep,
And it's
exactly.
just, there's no explanation.
No rhyme or reason. Yep.
But
Yep.
you know, somebody's
People are people.
Somebody's nonprofit organization's a little bit richer. You
Mhm.
know,
I
It's just
love
like,
that.
We had a court case just
never know.
recently.
You know, you never know what's going on. I mean, just like
Mm-hmm.
it is not even just in one branch of the government; it's in all branches of the government.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what topic it is. Our political system stinks. We'll be seeing politicians standing on the stand going ham about an issue, and they'll all be just nodding their heads and then go vote the exact opposite. So it's just like it wouldn't shock me whatsoever if she just came back, even though she's all like, oh yeah, I like this. Ooh, Game Pass, I love that.
I know.
Ooh. Yeah, not doing it. I'm not doing it. Like, I'll just be like, yep, I kind of figured.
So slow. Can you agree with me that based on her showing and her showing of her understanding of the material, if she comes back and votes with the injunction, stupidity will not be one of the excuses used.
Mm.
I would then lean on the side of
Mhm.
corruption, because she would then she's at least proven that she understands better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
So like you just have to kind of just accept that that's just kind of the way things work
Mhm.
in this country. Like
I mean, you're not wrong, SloMo. Like
Yeah.
a lot. I think we've heard like a lot. We've heard Ain say that. We've heard Cole Eastwood say that he knows this is good. He knows it should pass. He just doesn't trust the system. Why? I mean, why the hell would you? Living in the United States, if you trust the system, you should know better by now, right?
Right.
So there is a point to
Gentlemen,
that.
you should broaden your horizons a bit. Look at what's happening in the CMA. This is a movement that is transcending the borders of these here United States,
Mhm.
people. There's a movement afoot trying to put the ideology ahead of the existing law, and it's permeating everywhere. Look at what Canada did. They are all guilty of it. Oh, we missed our window. We have no right to be or say anything. We're going to put a thumb in your eye just because we can. Right? And it means nothing. It can't do a damn thing except for make you all look bad, and maybe we score some points with the old con. You know,
Exactly.
It seems a little, all of it, and it's not America, right? UK's doing the same thing. Everyone seems to suggest that the CMA and the EU, the UK and the CMA are and he's not wrong. After Brexit, there's no love lost there. So any
Right.
chance for one to get the other one to look like a fool, they're taking it, and that all
a good
plays
point.
here too, right? It sucks everywhere at this point when it comes to this kind of thing. The merit is the last thing anyone ever thinks about.
Yep. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
I mean, I can't disagree with anything you said. Like, you know, if you're just looking at the evidence, it seems overwhelming, and you're like, Microsoft, like you know, SloMo was saying, slam dunk, like no problem.
Mhm.
But then there's the other side, and this is why I always kind of go, well, but remember, they're people. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, people have biases. People get paid off all the time. We know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all I gotta say is that if she doesn't vote the right way, she is gonna mess up the lifetime Game Pass that her son gets. So I'm guarantee you, she's thinking about that.
No
right
promotion
now.
for her son.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that? Was that a disclosed document? No, I'm just kidding. But shout out to
Outside
the over
words,
110
inside
people.
words, sir.
Inside voice. Shout out to over 110 people here in the chat. Thank you so much. And a lot of people were gifted membership last week from Hitman, which thank you so much. And I'm gonna, if you're in the chat and you notice that your name is in green in the chat, well, then you got gifted and you are able to use these exclusive emojis, which I'm hitting right now. Boom.
What?
So there you go. So you guys, I mean, burn them up, man. You might as well. Your membership, it's gifted for a month, and if you enjoy what you're doing, then you know, become a regular member. It's as low as $2.99, and we have different levels, which different things. If you get like $4.99 or higher membership, then you actually are able to join us on the. I think it's in 2 weeks. We're going to have our first members only episode, which will be exclusive for members only, and a lot of the members will actually be in on the show, which will be cool. And that will be for about maybe I think 4 or 5 days later. Then we'll drop it in the channel for everybody to enjoy. So there you go. Oh, and look, Silent Cypher. Look what he did.
Oh lordy,
Oh, my
Silent
goodness.
Cypher gifting
Silent
5 memberships. You crazy mofo.
Thank you so
Love that,
much,
dude.
sir. Thank you so much. I wasn't trying to prod anybody to do that. Thank you so much.
Salute to the man
Rhetri,
side.
can you read who got him?
Yeah, so I'm seeing BZ McNasty was gifted 1, Lloyd C was given 1. I'm sure I just butchered your name. Sorry. Emerson Morse was gifted 1. God Emperor Sofa King, what's up, brother? And Shaker 1000, all gifted. Very nice, Silent Cypher. Very
Thank you,
nice.
Silent. Really appreciate you, sir.
brother. Yeah,
So there
Silent
you
will
go.
definitely be there, right, Silent, for our first.
He better. He's going to be a guest
first
on that
show?
show. He doesn't know it
Yeah,
yet. but he's gonna-
surprise! You didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna DM you.
surprise.
There you go.
I plan on
I'm just gonna-
pirating the show, so
Yeah.
There you go.
I thought one of the funny things too, the judge had asked the FTC about Bethesda games that were comparable to Call of Duty,
Boy, this was
leading the
landmine.
FTC, and they cited Elder Scrolls as a possible equivalent
oh,
to
You mean
Call
Elder
of
Scrolls
Duty.
16?
Oh my God, yeah,
That's what
she
she
did get
said.
that wrong. The
Yep.
lawyer, well, our lawyer, like I'm freaking with Microsoft. I wish.
Bias showing much?
See, now you guys know I'm a shill.
Supreme-
Now
our
you know I'm a
leader.
shill. I just let it spill. Our team,
I
lawyer made a
mean,
boo-boo.
come on. Your title says
Game Pass
I know.
daily.
daily.
Exactly.
I just dusted off my PlayStation, so I think it's still working. But
eBay?
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that allowed?
I
Just
I will
kidding.
never sell my console. I sold
either.
my Switch, and that was a huge mistake. I should not have done that. But yeah, I thought this was a terrible comparison because the judge was looking for like some equivalency here, and the FTC in their infinite wisdom talks about Elder Scrolls. I was just blown away by this. I was like, how can we lose a case to these people if this happens? She says, the judge says, I quote, all of this for a shooter video game, ? We're concerned about competition for this one shooter video game. Because at that point, she was very frustrated when she said that. I just,
that was
I
another
think
point.
she
Yeah.
was having a tough time comprehending how big
How
of
it
a
got
deal
this far?
this game is, or how it got
Yeah.
this far, or why the hell they were there. Because the judge says, what do you, talking to the FTC lawyer, the judge says this, what do you say, though, to Mr. Ryan, aka Jim Ryan, who said that, she goes, star whatever, meaning Starfield, there was nothing anti-competitive about Microsoft making that exclusive. Under what you just said to me, that is anti-competitive. So earlier, Mr. Ryan had said that he didn't seem to give a crap about Starfield, and even said it wasn't. He literally used the words. He didn't see it as being anti-competitive. Like that's the magic words. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping us. But she's trying to like come to this conclusion. Like, why is Starfield not anti-competitive, but Call of Duty?
You know why he did that, right? He did that because he knows his hands are in the mouth of the lion, and if you want to use that lion, he can easily turn around on you. How many documents does the FTC have on you and your business dealing, Sony? And then you're gonna go around talk about exclusives being anti-competitive? Well, guess what? How many anti-competitive behaviors have you then partaken in there, sir? Because there's many histories of you going exactly the same way. So he can't say that.
On that point, this is what was said. The FTC lawyer says, I don't know what the basis for Mr. Ryan, why he was less upset about that one than Call of Duty. And then the judge says this. She goes, because he does the same thing. I was like, yes! She's literally fucking reading my mind, and then just said it right in the middle of the court case. She's like, because you do it? I was like, yes, judge. That's why I like her. So yeah,
and the
if
only
we
thing
lose,
at that point,
she got bought out.
The only thing at that point what I would have loved to see Microsoft's lawyers do was drive the point home and say he doesn't do only the same thing. He defined this process.
Yes,
he defined this process. That's
well,
they do.
Satya kind of alluded to that.
He kind of did that too. He kind of did that
too.
Did
say that he doesn't want to do exclusives, and the only reason that they're doing them is because they have to in a market where Sony does it 3-to-1, 5-to-1 versus what Xbox does. Xbox is just playing catch up and exclusivity, while Microsoft is taking the ball and running away with it. But I did think that was pretty interesting. And of course they move on because they were getting their butts kicked. They move on to cloud arguments. This is a little tidbit from here as well. The Microsoft lawyer saying with all these other streaming services, they're going to have the ability to stream the game, which they don't have today, meaning like NVIDIA and all the streaming platforms that they're making a deal with. Judge Corley to the FTC says this, in some sense, you won and got what you wanted. Force them into entering these agreements. Yup, I agree with that. And then the FTC says, we have evidence there are agreements. We do not have evidence of anything beyond agreements. Shut the hell. These are going to be these are liable contracts. Remember, this is the same guy that had Phil on the stand and wanted him to agree to making Call of Duty like forever on the platform indefinitely, like it was a contract. Like he wanted him to do it right there and then on the friggin' stand. Like it was weird. Till of course the judge stepped in and was like, "What are you doing?" So Judge Corley says, "Why wouldn't NVIDIA do what they did, say what they said? They're a competitor to Microsoft in cloud gaming. So why did they do it then?" Obvious question. FTC says that doesn't count under the law because it's not merger specific. The deal would have been achieved whether we were here or not. It was a sweetener. I say absolute BS. I mean, I'm sure it was a sweetener, but I don't think the deal would have been achieved whether they were there or not. I think that's total crap.
See that part there, Rhetri, the whole it was a sweetener part. That's the part that I thought was super interesting because it really crystallized what the FTC's case was about. They keep trying to say, hey, these guys are bad guys. They do bad things. Trust us. They're bad guys. They do bad things.
Right. Trust us. Trust us. Trust us.
Trust us. Trust us. Trust us. Well, but they have contracts. Oh, the contracts can be there are loopholes in it. Oh, but they're on oath. Oh, even after the oath, they can do something. Right? They kept trying to discredit them. And that, what you described there, was the key of it all, which was even though there are rules that govern, these people are so nefarious, they'll find some way around it. That was the whole point to be made. The guy is literally under oath saying, yes, if I can, I will make it exclusive. What else do you want from them? Then he goes, well, what about Diablo? You know, and Diablo part. I know most people were thinking that was just that was
Such with Diablo, yeah.
You know, I know most people were thinking that was him shilling for PlayStation. I get that. It sounded that way. But he was literally trying to lock him down to say, no, you can't. You can't promise that because you're not the decider in chief. Even though I spent the last 20 minutes convincing everyone that you were the decider in chief because you're the one that makes these decisions. It was just so.
She jumped on that real quick. Yeah, but she jumped on that real
ridiculous.
quick.
You know, it was so ridiculous. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not wrong there. I think we're gonna move on from the FTC thing because we've beaten it to death.
What? There's something else? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, did you have anything to add to that, WEBDAVE?
There is the honey-do list of all the studios they were going to potentially acquire.
That's where I'm going next, brother.
Found out.
That is right where we're going next. Because I guess that is part
just
of it,
to throw this in and the last thing we're going to talk about tonight. After this, we're going to talk about this next, but we're going to talk about Jim Ryan's incredibly arrogant reply.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, talk on that right now, Dave, because that's part of this. Yeah. Because I actually have to step away for like literally not even a minute. But
okay, well, I'll get it started, and I guarantee these guys are going to have a little jump in, and you can follow up when you get back. So basically, the back and forth that because Microsoft offered first a 3-year deal, then a 5-year deal, and then the 10-year deal. And so Jim replied back that, well, we don't want to accept that. Here's what we'll do. And my guys can write this up right away. As soon as you say it's okay, then we'll have my team write it up and send it back to you, of course, with all his legalese and his and his variables in place. But basically, they wanted to what Sony was going to agree to was only if Sony agreed to let all of Bethesda's titles, including Starfield, appear on the PlayStation 5. All future Bethesda titles appear on the PlayStations in the future. All Call of Duties, anything that they've done still stay in place, meaning that they would have the exclusive rights to skins, promotion, marketing over the company that would own them. They would give them the rights to push it the way they always have. They also wanted it to let those games be available in their service that's comparable to Game Pass at no cost to Sony.
That one blows me away. That part, like, what?
Along with a few other little things here and there he was throwing in, but that's the gist of, like, they want everything to stay the same. They want everything that makes it the advantage for Microsoft buying the company. Sony still wants to try and maintain their grip hold on being the market leader. And to me, it's like, I was so glad when Phil replied back, I think we're going to have to pass on that.
I think the survey says go fuck yourself.
And that is when, at that time, is when Ryan started going about, oh, it's an outrage and this is terrible and and we've seen your deal, we can't accept it, and it's it's atrocious, and they just it's fair for everyone. That's what you don't like about it. But anyway, so that was my point. Let's start with Mr. Bushido, because he's the newest person on the, and then we'll go from there.
The entitlements is what really got me. It was amazing to me. We're talking about businessmen, right? And businessmen don't generally waste each other's time because it's a courtesy to each other.
Right.
And to have that conversation and to throw all that there, I don't know. Like, sometimes I've gone through my head and said, all right, look, if I was Jim Ryan, and since I'm a rational person, it's hard for me to think of why I would say these things, but I try to go through it and say, all right, for me, do I really think that they would have taken that deal? Now, I understand, like in fantasy football, a lot of times you'll throw a trade out and see what happens. And sometimes you see what was the most you could get, and And if they don't take it, you're like, hey, we just negotiate. But this right here was like, let me get the farm. I need the truck, but I need you to put gas in it. I'll bring the truck back, but you're gonna clean it. And I was like, wow, just like you want something that has nothing to do with COD, which is Bethesda. I wanna just try to sap up as much as I can if I'm gonna get you to take this deal. It was just the entitlement. And I don't know if it's just me. And I don't usually take stuff like this personally because I would just look at it and say, like, wow, I don't believe he did that. But I kind of took it personally myself. Like, dude, like who do you think you are? Like, I don't even care. I'm with K.ASANTA too. I don't care about the ABK deal. I understand what it is for Xbox. I understand why it's big for Xbox. Me is good for trolling, but besides that, I don't really care for anything.
I feel like there's a pattern here. I feel like I'm the only damn person who cares that this deal goes through for the
I
benefit
care if it
of
goes
myself.
through.
No, I mean for me though. Like if it doesn't affect you, I get it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it like Kay. Like the only thing that's on Activision that I would like to see come back would be what's that Ghost game that they canceled years and years ago from not World of Warcraft, the other one.
StarCraft Ghost.
StarCraft
Ghost. StarCraft Ghost. Yeah. I was like, maybe we might be able to get another StarCraft type game back in that universe. And Prototype. I wouldn't mind seeing Prototype come back.
Prototype.
Good one. Yeah, the game has good bones to it, but it's flawed. But I think that nowadays it could be fixed. And I think it would be a great game nowadays.
Yeah.
But besides that, that's really it. So besides that, I don't really care about the deal. But after that, after hearing that it was on that email, I was like, no. I have to have this deal go through now. Now I have to have this deal go through. I have nothing to do with working for Xbox. But in my head, now I need this deal to go through because who do you think you are? Wow. That's really it. I'm gonna just lay the rest out for everybody else. But I just thought the entitlement was just amazing that you would throw all this in there. And Bethesda has nothing to do with that. But you was like, no, I want all that, and I want it to be inside, your costs. And I still want the marketing, and I still want the skins. Like, you gotta be kidding me. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Absolutely. Slow-mo, Kay, you guys got anything to add onto the arrogance of Sony?
Oh,
I know you're shocked.
I will just, I echo all the things that Bushido has said. I think it's brazen. I think it's hilarious. I think that the size of that man's cojones, it's just not to be believed. Not to be believed. That man, we need to talk to him about, what is his manscape regimen is, because boy, it's gotta be regimen. It's gotta be extensive because what putting your hand in a $2 trillion pocket and expecting to do that, like you got some stones on you, man. But yeah, he shot his shot.
He shot his shot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like they say, you tried it. You tried it.
That's right. That's right. Thanks to the scourge of a Sharpie, we now have all the details, and I love it. It's good.
That's right. Defeated by Sharpie. Oh my god, that's funny.
I'm good. It's just hilarious to actually read what he wrote and then see what he said after the fact. My only thing that I want to know is what did Phil do when he read it? Was it first anger?
Dude, Phil was like, this mother. Okay, and then but Phil's smarter than I am.
Booty, get in here, Booty. You see this?
Read this. Like it's one of those things where like you write the first draft of the email and you're like, listen, motherfucker, and then you have to like wait 5 minutes. And then you delete it.
I bet that's what Matt Booty did. He moved Phil out the way. He's like, no, let me type this. Let me type this. And Phil's like, no, don't send that.
Yeah. Matt Booty is a gangster. Peaches is a gangster. That's what I'm calling him now. Peaches, because everyone puts in the thing in the chat. They pull the Peaches. Peaches is a gangster now.
When the FTC was looking for all their emails, he went, you better delete all your draft emails because we don't want to see those drafts.
Those draft emails would be so good. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we saw. Can you imagine what they didn't send? That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. It's it'll be interesting. We're hearing that best case scenario, we find out by Wednesday. I don't see it. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll happen by Wednesday. I know Foss has said that.
I'm
Some other
expecting
people
on
have said that.
Friday. I'm expecting it on
Yeah.
Friday.
So I said,
If it's
okay,
earlier
so
than
you're
that, I'm
expecting
happy.
it to happen this week because the 12th was being the 12th date was being rumored around here too, but then people are saying it's probably going to be sooner than that. But whatever. The hope the end is nigh. I hope, because I'm tired of talking about the FTC. I want to move on because I want to move on to other sexy subjects like the next acquisition, which brings us to what we're talking about next, and that was the ridiculous information that we got out of this hearing. And that was just Microsoft going ham on all these studios they were looking at acquiring next after ABK. Now, it started off with like 250, and then it went to like 100. They knocked it down to, and the list just kept dwindling down and dwindling down and dwindling down. I don't know if you gentlemen were able to see any of these lists because they are extensive, they are long, and they're kind of ridiculous. But there's some things from like the like 100 list. Let me see if I can find it. That went away that I was a little disappointed in. But I'll talk about, and this is 2021, so take this with a grain of salt, guys. A lot of things change, a lot of things move, just like Microsoft was going to make things exclusive and then they decided not to. They were going to, things change. So this list may be dead for all we know. A lot of these studios, they can't buy because Sony did. So we'll start off with the first one on the list. That was Behavior Interactive. In case anyone doesn't know who the hell that is, those are the guys who made Dead by Daylight. The only reason I'm just going to kind of go through if you guys, if any of this stuff excites you guys, like, and any of these studios are like, yeah, that would be a good pickup. Let me know. Does anyone a fan of Dead by Daylight? Anyone play that game at all? Or
I think it's a smart move.
I think
it's a smart
you
move.
like that one? You like that one?
I call that game Death by Boredom. Because that game,
come on,
Really?
Wow.
slow-mo. You know that for you,
Come on.
that is Death by Boredom. But it was like in its height, it was like the biggest party game. It's not for me.
Like
That is
it was a big party game.
I agree, it's not
like
for me
that
either.
game. Look, that studio. Look, okay, for reference, for context, everyone in the chat. This is the same studio that, like at Summer Game Fest, they brought out Nicolas Cage, and they showed that very janky,
Okay, I will have
supposed
no
version
Nicolas
of
Cage
Nicolas
slander.
Cage.
I will have no
on
Nicolas
stage.
Cage slander on my podcast.
I'm not slandering Nicolas Cage. I'm slandering the supposed
The animation?
version of Nicolas Cage in that game. The janky animation. It looked horrendous. And this is the studio you guys want to acquire?
Listen, Behavior Interactive is not known for their prowess when it comes to like their animation and stuff. But I personally, I can only speak on this and how I played this game, and that I've only played this game with a group of people, and we had some of the best, the absolute best gaming I've ever had. Just laughing when you're playing with your friends and you're like circling and he's trying to kill you, and you're all like fucking with them basically. We're like, we're over here. We had a blast. So in that regard, it's cool. It is a weird. I know they do a mobile version of Dead by Daylight, so that's why I'm thinking like, is it for the mobile side? Like, is Dead by Daylight, was that a huge success? I honestly don't remember.
But to acquire a studio, you will have to believe in the talent and the culture of the studio, and that they could do something more than just Dead by Daylight. So once Dead by Daylight,
hundreds of people and put them in their top 17.
Game, what else are they going to make?
But isn't it weird though? Like, I never would have picked, like, looking at the 100 list, and I'm kind of agreeing with you to a point, SloMo. Like, I never would have whittled it down to 17.
I'm gonna tell you why they're on the list.
Would have been on my list.
I'm gonna tell you why they're on the list. Because they're looking at, like, if you put Dead by Daylight into Game Pass with perks and other things that you don't get if you don't have Game
Games
Pass.
as a service.
That when a game has a consistent, solid community of people, you're going to get concurrent users in Game Pass, and that's all they're looking at. They're not looking at the talent of the studio. They're looking at the technical prowess, which is zero. They're not looking at anything. About it.
They have Netflix, so for them, this is perfect Netflix fodder, and they're right.
Yeah. I mean, that's a
It's
great. I'm
perfect
glad you
Netflix
brought
fodder.
that up. I don't know why I didn't even think of that. I don't know what their numbers are, but they must be half
Yeah.
decent for them to make
Yeah.
the
Go
top 17.
It's great for
go on like
parties.
Kick and Twitch and stuff. You'll see a
Mhm.
ton of people streaming Dead by Daylight.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean,
that's the
yeah,
reason
that's
why
where
they
I
want
watched
to.
it.
it.
It's a trash
I
Exactly.
did watch
game.
it there first.
And it is a trash game. Yes. Yes.
Damn you, slow-mo. He goes
Hey,
back
Rhetri.
at 180. He's like, by the way, it still sucks though.
Rhetri, we do have
Yeah.
a super chat that kind of applies.
Okay, Silent Sight for $2 super chat, and he's correct. How dare you speak ill of Nick Cage in any form? That's true. I mean, he wasn't really. I mean, I guess he wasn't really talking trash about Nick
I
Cage.
wasn't
It's fine.
talking. I can talk trash
I'm not
about
a big
Nick
fan.
Cage,
Don't you dare! Stop
but I
it right there.
didn't this time.
Redfield, great
He
movie.
got slander
Sorry.
for you if you so choose.
The bees,
That's right.
the bees. Come on.
Oh man, I love Cage. He's so underappreciated. The next one on the list was Housemarque. Obviously, we know what happened with that. I know Bushido loves Returnal. We still have to play that, brother.
Yeah.
Good game. I don't care, y'all. I know. There's a bunch of Xbox people in here, guys. It's a good game. It's okay.
Oh,
It's okay to
Returnal
like other
is
things.
awesome.
Thank you.
Returnal is
Thank you.
awesome.
I'll tell you right now. In my opinion, when Returnal came out before Sony bought
Mhm.
them, my
Mhm.
first thought was Microsoft needs to buy these guys. That was my first.
I
was
thought
like,
the
this
same
is
thing.
good.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
good.
They're
I
very
didn't
good at
beat
what
the
they
game
do.
because I'm terrible at it.
Housemarque
that
in general
game
is amazing.
Hard.
Yeah.
I
I
beat
think
that
what hurt
game
the
in
game was
8
that it was
hours
a
straight.
roguelike. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's the
in the
only thing that
beginning
hurt the
it
game
was.
for like casuals. For like casuals. I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
that's
dude,
what really
that
hurt them.
yeah, that 100%. It's like I
It's a
compare
bad
it. It's
roguelike.
worse than Elden Ring. Like
Right.
Elden Ring is more
Right.
acceptable than that
Yeah.
game is, in my
Right.
opinion, because it
Well,
just
but-
it'll punch you in the face and bring you right back to zero.
And then
At
switch
its
and then
bones,
switch the whole
it's a
thing
bad
up.
roguelike. It's a
Right.
bad roguelike. You know, most
Yes.
roguelites, you start short bursts. You go, you fail, you start again. You go, you fail, you over and over
Right.
again, and you get better and better over time. This one, you
It's
start,
awesome.
you're 3, 4,
This
5
kicks you in
hours
the
in.
teeth.
You die, you start, you lose everything.
All
That's
Yeah.
the way
horrible.
back
Yes.
to zero.
Horrible. You
Yes.
know what I mean? But
And then they switch the whole level all up.
exactly right.
Yeah.
But after they worked out the kinks, it took me to the PC to play it. But I played it on PS5. I didn't really like it. I think
It looks
I put, like,
gorgeous
5,
on
6 hours
PC.
in. On PC, it is amazing. I beat it in 8 hours straight through. It was just awesome, like really,
You know
really
what?
good. It took me some
I
time
hate
to
you.
connect to it.
No,
Yeah,
no,
me
but
too.
Gray beard is
not
real.
beaten that to this
It
day.
wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
That's why he has it. He's got the gray beard. Yeah. Shout out
wasn't
to the gray
easy.
beards at gaming. I don't.
Oh.
Thanks, J Mac. J Mac. I just want to shout out. Thanks for
Hmm.
grouping me in with these older guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
That is a great moniker, man. Somebody needs to do that
Yeah.
podcast. The Gray
I
Beards
know.
of Gaming.
When he said that,
How
I was
about
like,
that?
that's
There you go.
really good.
Oh.
Bushido. We got to talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, to keep that name right there in the back pocket.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get J Mac involved so he doesn't sue us.
For sure. For sure. He's great.
Shout out to J Mac, man. Good dude. The next one, this is one that I really love. This may be controversial. I don't know. But that is People Can Fly. Made it into the
Oh, yeah.
top 17. So you got, they did Outriders, which I was a big fan of. Very
I was a
controversial
huge
game,
fan.
whatever.
Me
I
too.
freaking love that game. Bulletstorm, and of course, the kind of thing against them, Gears of War Judgment, if you weren't a big fan of Gears of War Judgment.
Stop
here we go.
the Gears of War slander. Stop it.
Come on.
Nah,
it wasn't
nah.
good.
The
I'm
Judge
It's
sorry.
the worst
slander.
Gears game.
Hey, Rhetri, we
It-
got a super
It's
chat.
the worst Gears game, sure,
okay.
sure, but it's still not a bad game. Continue.
All right, that's
They
fine.
are a decent studio. I did
Yes,
like
they are.
Outriders.
I
is
really-
I loved Outriders.
It's a
Yeah.
very
I
good
love
looter shooter.
that
It just had a
studio.
lot of technical issues at launch that kind
Right.
of
Yeah.
like rub people.
But technically, you could
that way.
fix.
With some time
technically you
and
could fix, but the
personnel,
talent
yeah.
is there.
The only reason why I'm still not playing that game to this day is because of content. Yeah, I really was
Yeah.
addicted to that game.
It was a grind fest. It reminded me of Destiny in a way. I loved
Yeah.
that game. People were talking trash about it. I'm like, F you guys, you just don't know how to have fun. But anyways, Sean,
Full
Sean-
disclosure.
Meanwhile, Square
Go
Enix
ahead.
still hasn't paid People Can Fly for.
I
making
know
it.
they still haven't played
Yeah,
them.
don't
They
expect
still haven't
that.
paid them. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Full
man.
disclosure: one of my oldest friends worked there for many years, so like
Oh,
I'm a
very
little
cool.
biased. Yes,
Oh,
like
excellent.
he's worked there for many years. I'm a little biased. They did like Bulletstorm. They all
Mhm.
of the, during
Mhm.
that time. They are
Tell
a
him we
great
need to
studio
interview
that's
him.
waiting.
We
I
talked
have
about
been
it.
trying
we
to
would,
get
we
him
would,
on.
we would love to
Yes.
take.
I think you know who I'm talking about. Yes. He needs to
Mhm.
get
We'd
I
on.
know
love
exactly
to.
what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are waiting for that one amazing. They are one hit away from Crystal Dynamics.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you
yes.
go. I could go
I
with
agree
that.
with
That's
you.
what I think.
I could go with that.
They just keep getting
What-
shafted by bad publishers or bad product.
Well,
You know?
this is
Well,
also
they're
why
working for.
and-
They're
and
doing a
they-
game for Xbox now.
They're
So
doing, yes, I was just
Yeah.
gonna. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was just gonna say. So they got like whatever. I think it was $50 to $60 million budget, and I want to bring this point up because this is something that I was just on Umbra's podcast, and
Okay,
Daniel brought up this.
I know you
really
did,
good
and,
point.
and I hate
I
to
know.
interrupt you, but we got the super chat.
Yeah.
I want us to read
All right,
real
let me
quick.
start.
It's on the
All
screen.
All
Been there for a
right,
few
John
minutes.
Wolf, $10 super chat. I'm with SloMo. Last time I tried to play Death by Daylight, my character fell asleep, and the killer hung me up and covered me with the blanket. Great show.
cover you with the
Hey,
blanket. I like that.
K.ASANTA.
Touche.
K.ASANTA.
Touche.
John
Shout out to
Wolf.
John Wolf, man.
John Wolf is a co-host on your new show.
That's
Tell us
right.
about that real quick.
Yeah, John and I are hosting.
Shout out to
I'm
John.
co-hosting a new
love
show. He is worse than Everborn sometimes with the slander. It's
Oh.
ridiculous. Anyway, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday nights. We're doing the Gamers Playground. We're talking about PC games and the handhelds and the this and that. So come check us out. It's really cool. You know, appreciate you letting me plug that. Thank
I
you.
also got to say,
Absolutely.
well,
Oh, I
welcome
see
to,
Dealer in the chat.
welcome to Dealer
what's up,
Gaming
brother?
in the chat.
What's going
Welcome,
on, Dealer Gaming?
Oh man,
We will get you
My
on
hero.
this one way or another, Dealer. We're just gonna keep bugging you to say
we'd love to have you
yes.
as a guest someday, buddy. I know you're a busy
That's
man,
how I
so
do it.
someday when you get the chance, we would love to have you on
Absolutely.
because everybody loves what you have to say. Continue. sir.
Yeah, no, you're good. So I wanted to bring up a good point that while I was on Umbra's show that Daniel mentioned, and that was like a lot of these studios are from areas where there's a difference in our money versus there. So like People Can Fly is out of Poland. So a $50 to $60 million budget when our money is like worth twice as much as them is really like $120 million for people like People Can Fly Studio, which I thought was an excellent point to bring up. Because I was asking, I was like, they're more kind of AA on the verge of AAA, like they're almost there. And 2K's point, I think they're like one game away from being that like breakout studio that just has a huge hit. So I love this. I love this.
In that
making the top
area,
17.
in that specific location, ask yourself what denotes a AAA budget, because the
Mm.
cost of living is way different out
That's
there.
exactly
Yeah,
that's exactly what
absolutely.
Daniel was bringing up. So I thought that was a great point. So I started
They
kind
get
of
paid way cheaper as
Mhm.
developers than say
Ex-
Western developers out here in the United
Absolutely.
States. Way different.
Yep.
I still do kind of feel like just my speculation that they're doing a Gears trilogy
I hope not.
remake or remaster or something.
I hope not. It'd be too safe. I hope not. Although I'm sure
Oh,
they
you're talking
do a
about
great
People
job
Can
of it.
Fly doing that
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
project?
Like
that
they're doing the
oh,
Gears
Yeah.
collection.
I
Could be,
don't
but I
want
hope
it.
not.
The thing
That's
is
too
that
I
safe.
don't want
I feel
it.
like that is in development, and I would much rather they were doing that than the coalition.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I can get behind that. I can get behind that if Coalition
It
was
makes
doing
logical
something
sense.
different. I do. I like it. I like your answer in that regard for sure. So the
Yeah.
next one. So the next one on this list, if it moves a needle for people, and I think it probably should, was Remedy Entertainment. Out of Finland. I'll mention
Remedy.
where they're from. So you got Control, Alan Wake, and we got Alan Wake 2 coming up, which is day one for me. Quantum Break and Max Payne. Of course, I got some crap from the guys on this because I'm not a Control fan. I did not like that game. But what do you guys think about Remedy Entertainment possibly being acquired by Microsoft? Does that move the needle for you?
I think that would be a good move for them because Remedy provides something that they currently don't have. And for a
Yes.
lot of the Xbox gamers that want a similar kind of game that you would see,
Story-driven.
mostly story-driven, narrative-driven game that you would see from Sony, Remedy can provide that. What they're doing right now with Alan Wake 2, I think is amazing. How you got two separate protagonists, and you can pick and choose when you want to switch between them, or whether you just want to stick with one protagonist or not. They are not afraid to try things that no one else is doing. They're not afraid to kind of go left field out of the box with ideas. Sometimes it doesn't
Right.
work, like with Quantum Break with the whole TV show
Yep.
thing, but
Great
Quantum
game, I
Break
think.
is also, as a game, still a good game. They make very good games. Like, I know you didn't like Control, but I
didn't.
didn't care for Control's story, but the gameplay I loved. I really loved the game.
Let's not talk about the campaign of Crossfire X. We shall move quickly along.
You notice I didn't.
and I don't even
You notice
like.
I didn't say
that's
anything about
not even
Crossfire.
like that's not their IP. I don't know exactly
It's
like
a
how
weird,
much
They,
yeah,
they
it's a
built
weird
the
situation.
campaign.
they built the
They
campaign.
built the campaign.
Okay,
just
like
the campaign.
Ken,
To
you
the
weren't
point
supposed
where
to say,
even
you weren't supposed to tell
to
the
the
truth.
point where to the point where when you go into the campaign, it's their Northlight engine. I think it's the Northlight engine,
Yes.
and it actually it's almost like the Crossfire engine is a jumping off point and has a shortcut to the Northlight engine, which then
Weird.
opens up their campaign, and it was
Touche.
not good, man.
Yeah,
It was
that's-
not good.
see,
did not work.
That's a bad implementation there. But I feel like if they had they're an independent developer. A lot of times you don't, as an independent developer, you don't get the kind of budgets that you want or the time to kind of put
100%.
into a project that you need. I think that with the amount of creative freedom that Xbox provides their first party, if they did acquire them, they would get that budget in that time so that they'll be able to kind of make more stuff along the lines of Alan Wake 2 and less like stuff like that Crossfire X campaign that you all would like to forget ever existed.
Yeah, see, money control was awesome. Yes, it's people love it. You know, it wasn't
I
for
like
me,
to
but
say
yeah.
that Crossfire X was a black eye on Smilegate and no one else. That's fine.
Smilegate,
Yeah,
there you go.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They
It is
they clearly had no idea how to do first person shooter controls
Yeah.
and make it feel good at all. Because when I played it, I was like, no, this is the worst controlling first person shooter I've ever played in my life.
Where
I
we
didn't
at
even
on your
play it.
list,
I just took
Rhetri?
everyone's word for it. What's up?
Where are you at on your list? What number are we on?
I am on. Well, I'm going through my own personal list on the studios right here. We got a few more studios to talk about.
Because
Why,
I
what's
know
up?
we got this one coming up. No, yeah, there we go. No, that's not right. I thought we had a card for it. Anyway, my bad. Talking about
Oh,
we're talking about at some point we got to talk about.
yeah, they're on there. I mean, they're unfortunately they're the last ones because they're on the publisher section. But don't worry, we'll get to the big boy. Yeah, no, don't worry. I was never gonna forget Sega.
You're my hero.
So the next one was 11-Bit Studios. I know a lot of people probably don't know who 11-Bit is, but they're out of Poland. Cheap. So we got Frostpunk. They got Frostpunk 2 coming out soon. I haven't played Frostpunk, but I know a lot of people really liked it.
It was good.
And
It's a very good
and-
game.
yeah,
really
and the
good game, yeah.
Alters is their new game. I forgot to look up what the hell it is. So if anyone knows what the hell it is, speak up.
I don't know if anyone has
remember
played.
this.
I know 11-Bit Studios, but mainly because of Children of Morta. If you haven't played it,
Okay.
amazing game. It is currently in my playlist. Children of Morta, awesome game, so good. 8-bit, very very old school style. They are
Right.
They are like the kings of that style of game. They have multiple games in that genre.
Show us your screen.
If they were to
again.
buy them, awesome.
Let's see that
Children of Morta, right there.
beautiful blurry image.
Is it blurry? I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry. I can fix that.
But no, this
Give us a
developer also
There
provides
you go.
something that they
Much
don't
better.
have.
Beautiful.
Like
good. Yeah,
There you
speak
go.
on it.
you like if you're going to acquire
Thanks, Steve.
acquire developers that diversify your portfolio and not like double down on genres that you already have. Like right now, I mean, I know that like Larian Studios is on this list, and I think
Yes.
Larian might be the best Western RPG
Yes.
developer that's out there right now. But
Agreed.
you don't need Larian because you got
Yeah, right.
Obsidian,
And-
you got
yes.
In Exile, you have Bethesda. You don't need to double down. You don't need the Justice League of Western RPGs at this point.
Yeah,
You need
yes, we do.
You need to fill, you need
I
to
want
fill in
it.
other areas, So it's just like
I agree. I know what you're saying. Like business wise, Larian does it. They don't have to put it. It's not a piece of the puzzle. They already have that puzzle. But
Yeah,
you're
you have
right.
In
but
Exile.
I still
You
want
have
it.
In
I
Exile,
still want
you
it
know.
so bad.
If you have In Exile, Larian becomes superfluous at that point. You have In Exile.
Right.
It's the same level.
I would still love for Xbox Publishing to work with Larry and potentially
Sure.
Yes.
with the KOTOR remake finally like Sony gives up the ghost with that with Embracer, and then there's the potential now to publish that and they get with Larry and have Larry.
That's a
KOTOR
really good.
That,
I
I
love
would
that
love
idea.
that. That would be great.
Hell yeah.
Either that or Obsidian, who did the sequel,
Mhm.
or like one of these other upstart indie studios that have come out from like the former ex-BioWare developers that have created like Archetype Entertainment, Yellow Brick Games, Humanoid. Like there's a bunch of little small studios from
Right.
like the big name people of BioWare that got sick of EA and made their own studio. Like they would know how to make that great. So like
Yeah,
work with
I
them or
agree.
something. But yeah, I would love to work with Larry in that way.
In that
you know?
capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm with you. I don't want KOTOR. I always say it weird.
Couture.
To die. KOTOR. I don't want my
Couture.
KOTOR to die. I love that game.
I
The
don't
next-
want a terrible version of that
Right.
coming out and selling. It's great. You
Mhm.
know, it's great.
Yeah,
to see.
killing its name. Yeah, it could kill
Yeah.
its name. And I love the Obsidian reference too, because why wouldn't you have the studio that already did the second one not do on reboot? But
Right.
the next one was Bohemia Interactive. They are the guys. Oh no! Oh sorry. Are you here? You
Whatever.
good?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, we're good. What
Huh.
happened?
Okay. Let's.
What happened?
We must
Whatever
have
happened?
lost. We must have lost Bushido for a second.
Oh,
Oh
I do
yeah,
see
wow.
where's the
I do
speaker
see he's
off.
lost. Yeah,
Right.
yep. I do see him. Yep, I see him. Yep.
All right. So, yeah, we got you
Yes.
now, brother. All right. So we are talking about Bohemia Interactive, another studio that Xbox was looking at acquiring, or Microsoft. They are out of Prague, and they do DayZ and a new RTS game called that's coming out. I don't know when. I can't remember when. Called Silica. Now, if you guys get a chance, you should really check out Silica, because what I like about this, it's an RTS game, but it switches to first-person shooter, dude, which I think is so cool. So it goes back and forth between RTS and first-person shooter. So if you get a chance, go watch Silica's trailer.
That's a pretty cool combination. With like, so let's say the
Yeah.
RT, like you go out on missions and then they will switch to first person view in the mission and maybe go back to the
Yep.
whole world building. I could,
So there's like, I think it's like it's kind of like Starship Troopers almost, like you're fighting these giant bugs and stuff. So then you're doing like your base and you're creating everything and trying to kill them. But then all of a sudden it switches to first person mode and they're showing like guys shooting other guys and whatnot, like within the building. So I don't know if it's if they goes first person shooter in the open world sections, but it definitely showed that it did it in like some interior stuff, which I thought was really, really dope, and just kind of a different take on the whole RTS genre in a whole.
Is
But
Silica out now?
no, I can't remember. It's their next game. It looks like their next big game that's coming out.
I see it's a PC exclusive.
Oh, well, there you go. Sorry, guys. I just got everyone. PC Master Race, go get a PC, right? We all got one. The judge told us we bought one, so we're good. I don't know. Does this move any needles for you guys, DayZ? Is that something that you guys were into, or Bohemia Interactive? I'm curious why this one is also on the list. Maybe they saw Silica and their other games that are coming out, and it looked good.
I
for
could have sworn.
portfolio.
I could have sworn when they put that list all together and they said the studio that makes DayZ and in it, I thought they said that DayZ 2 was in development. So like underneath the footnotes, it went, people like DayZ, right? ... Like,
I think you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Question mark.
That's what it
They
said.
weren't sure.
People like DayZ, right?
Right?
They were just covering their bases. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sure that this one was a real thing at any point. Because they specifically writes that people still like DayZ, right? ... I'm like, okay,
we don't know.
I guess not.
Is there any market research we can do on this? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is this any fans of DayZ? Like, does this move the needle for any of you guys, or this isn't really?
No,
for
not
me
really. I mean,
necessarily?
I wasn't a DayZ fan, so for me,
Yeah.
I kind of chalked this up more. It was like the same as that Dead by Daylight developer. They're looking at someone that can cultivate a community within Game Pass and have people consistently subscribing and happy to do so on a monthly basis because they're playing this one game. It's about this one game and whatever benefits they are getting through Game Pass for this one game. Yeah.
Right. All right. Yeah. I guess we'll move on because I don't think anyone cares about these guys, which is fine. Bungie, obviously, we know that went to Sony, so they're doing Destiny.
Who are those guys
Marathon
again?
Although those guys, no big deal. We'll skip right over them. No big deal. Crytek was next on the list out of Germany, so obviously you got Crysis, Rise, Son of Rome, and of course, to me,
CryEngine.
The CryEngine.
Thank you.
Yeah,
See, SloMo reading my
that's the
mind.
magic.
It's all about the
That's
CryEngine.
magic. Yes,
Yep.
sir.
I think that one's way more about the CryEngine than anything else, and just Microsoft owning all the engines, which would be fine by me. But Yeah, I'm not a big Crisis fan. I don't know if outside of the Cry engine, I love
Really?
Son of Rome though.
I like Crisis.
Yeah, not for me, but
The later
I know.
Crises were pretty good. The later ones
Yeah.
were really good. The first ones were
Right,
more
right.
tech demos
Yeah,
and they
2
were
and
really
3,
good
yeah.
for visuals. But 2 and
Right.
3,
Right.
yeah, they were pretty good. Yeah.
Bushido, you still here? Just making sure you're alive and you here?
Yeah, you can still hear me, right?
Yeah, we
Yep,
hear
just
you.
making sure.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I know. I was just silent.
I know you're good. I just making sure because I couldn't tell if your thing was working.
You mind if I throw something in on that Remedy thing real quick?
Yep.
Because
Go
I
for
saw
it.
it up there, but I was like, I want to say something about Remedy.
Go for
I
it.
would lose my stuff if Microsoft had acquired Remedy. I think they are a very good studio. They make from at least solid to very good games. I loved Control. I was in on that from like the ground floor, and I played that thing to death. I even played the DLC, which does not happen too often. What was the other game? Listen, I went back last year to finish. What's the name of that game again?
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break.
Yeah.
I
Great game.
only played halfway, and I was like, I'm not really feeling this game. Went back, and I just kicked myself every day afterwards because once the game was over, I was like, that's it. What I want to play some more. They make really good games, very enjoyable games.
It's odd that they haven't been acquired. It's very odd that they have not.
Yeah,
been
it is.
up.
Unless they're doing a very good job of making money, and that might not want to be, but at the same time, like I'm forcing them if it's in my hands. I'm like, hey, look, man, it's got to be a price, right? You know, it's right on this paper. Let's see what we can do. But I like Remedy a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Hey, Asante, do you mind reading this super chat since it was actually
why don't you
directed
read
at you?
So
Got a lot of friends.
Mr. FDJ with a $2 super chat saying K.ASANTA must have iron buns. He's been at it. He's been on all day. It just happens sometimes, man.
That's got to be true.
It just culminates. You know what I'm saying? After this, I'm gonna go and run around my house for like 2 hours because I've been sitting all day.
but I tell you, Kay, we greatly appreciate the fact that you've been.
Oh no, it's fun, man.
Yeah, you're a marathon guy.
It's fun.
That's crazy that
we
See, but then after this,
sleeping.
Then after this, I get to lay in the cut with the community for another 2 months, and then you see me do another marathon. That's what happens.
That's right. That's true. All right, let's go down the list. IO Interactive was next out of Denmark. So this one was kind of funny to me. So they do Hitman. They got the new Project Dragon, aka now called Project Fantasy, which is the new online fantasy RPG that they're making, as well as the James Bond Project 007 that they're going to be doing as well, which is a great studio, obviously, for doing James Bond. Makes all the sense in the world for the guys who do Hitman. But I remember reading like the little slate from Microsoft when they were looking at IO specific, and it said something about hasn't had like something like along the lines of hasn't had a hit in a while outside of Hitman. So it's kind of like I felt kind of bad for IO Interactive devs for like reading this shit. Like, thanks, Microsoft.
It is a fact though, but yeah.
It is.
Hey,
true.
man. Their Hitman IP has proven that they got the chops. Even though, yes, they haven't had a hit in a while, I think this being on Microsoft's list is awesome. Hire them, get them immediately. My only stipulation, hire Silent Cypher to do the voice. I'm just saying.
That's a good point.
Just saying.
Cypher's got a great. That's a
Just
good one. Cypher has a great voice for that. Going on to what SloMo was talking about earlier, and that's Larian Studios out of Belgium, who of course has got Baldur's Gate coming out, which looks amazing, and the Divinity series, which is our RTS series, and a bunch of other games as well. What do you guys feel about Larian? I definitely get what SloMo is saying. He's right. In my opinion, he's right. I don't think they need it in the catalog, but I sure want it. I'll take Baldur's Gate. It looks so good. But what do you guys think about Larian? I'll go to you, Bushido.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Bushido.
I was with it. I looked at them as a very solid studio, and I was most of the time when I look at some studios, I look at what the potential of what else can they make, and for some reason they give me the mindset that these guys are more capable of other types of games besides Baldur's Gate, and I would like to see what other types of worlds that they would be able to develop. Um, I thought it was a good look. I thought it was a very good look on the list, and I was very intrigued. I can't say I still am because I don't know if the list is still the same, but
Right.
I was very intrigued by seeing their name on there.
Yeah, for sure. Go for it, Kay.
Oh no, I love Divinity Original Sin 1. I love Divinity Original Sin 2. They are one of those studios that keeps the old tradition of the CRPG alive, that classic old school. You know, they're one of the few studios where their games you can play and beat the entire game and not kill a soul. You can just talk your way through everything. They are hard RPG on that. So I do agree that they're not needed by Microsoft at all, especially considering the fact that you since this time you made this list, you now have all the studios of Bethesda in your stable.
Right.
It would just be overkill. It would be that guy going overkill at this point, right? Like you're going too far. You know, let that one slide. But no, they themselves are an amazing studio. Their games are amazing. Just like people saw like Sunset Overdrive and went, hey. Insomniac should make Spider-Man.
Yeah,
right.
You saw Divinity Original Sin and said, hey, these guys should make Baldur's Gate. They are that good. So
good point.
Kudos to them. If they don't get bought out, I'm sure at some point somebody else will do it. But to my understanding, they're not even that small a team. I think they're 300-400 people. So
yeah, they were pretty
team, so.
They were pretty big. Yeah. They were a pretty big team. Next up, we had.
Thank you, Bushido. Appreciate that. Yeah, thanks.
You say, came the giant peach. There you go. Peaches. Yeah, that's Matt Booty's name. We can't give it a K too. Only one guy can have that.
Hey, I became a fan of Matt Booty after hearing all these proceedings. So to me, that's Superman.
Yep. Yeah, he's gangster.
Mr. Cheeks, you mean? Mr. Cheeks?
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Peach. Yeah, you're right. Mr. Peach. Or Peaches. That's right. You said Peaches.
Yeah.
That's right. Peaches. Right. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. I remember.
Peaches is a gangster. So that's how.
Right.
Oh, Peaches is a gangster name. Absolutely. No other man could walk around. Somebody else call him Peaches. You know.
So next is Manicore Games, and most people have no clue who this is, and that's because they make a game called Core, which is kind of, from what the gist of what I've got, it's kind of like Dreams or Roblox. Roblox would be like the version that succeeded. Dreams would be the version of this that definitely did not. So we've talked about this.
I'm a bit of a geek. Why is it that I'm the only one that knows what all these studios are? Like I know the team that makes.
That's crazy because I don't know about this one. This is the only one I don't know about.
Yeah, it's like kind of a world building. Scenario. So, Kay, tell me why do you think it was because they saw it as maybe the next Roblox ? Or did you think that's why they were looking at these guys?
They signed with Epic Games, the company did, right? And then so before Epic started really tuning their version of the Forge, if you will, with the inside Fortnite, this was what they were pimping. Right?
Okay.
If you go into the Epic Games Store, Core everywhere. Oh, people are building games for Core. Oh, Core. What was it? I think Kind of Funny did a whole expose on Core and showed the company and spoke to the developers. So I kind of was familiar when I saw them. It's exactly what you say. It is Dreams. It is Project Spark. It is an engine that allows you to build other crazy things.
It just doesn't feel like it ever works outside of Roblox, where you have a bunch of children that you expose to make money off of.
Well, I mean, there's Fortnite creative.
It's true. That's what it is.
There's creative modes in Fortnite that are literally 50% of the people that play Fortnite are playing that stuff. So I do wonder if that may be why Epic.
I think that's why they dropped this. Core was they acquired them since that, right? They were pimping them for a while, but now they're part of Core. Core is part of Epic. Am I wrong, SloMo?
I believe so.
I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. Because this is an old list. Okay, so from 2021 to now, that's probably what's going on.
See, there you go. That's why they're
and
all over Epic.
Fits with them like earlier this year having Fortnite Creative now being on Unreal Engine 5.1.
Yes.
And now they're really promoting people out there.
I bet you're right, because when I looked at Core, it looked impressive. I'm like, why do I not know more about this? But you guys did, so thank you for. That's why you're here, because you know more than I do. The next one was Play Dead out of Denmark. Now I love this one because I'm a big fan of Inside and Limbo. This is like a team of like 50 to 60 people. But my problem with this is Inside came out in 2016. So what the F are they doing? But I don't know. Is this anyone care about Play Dead or?
You know that they split, right? They're
Well, I
still
know,
kind
like
of
I know
together.
I know a bunch of them are
Yeah.
like on all kinds of different areas.
Cocoon is half of what's going to
Cocoon,
come out of the other
right.
side, and
Which
then
is
you
why I'm
already
excited.
You saw Somerville from the other side, the
Somerville,
other half
which
of them.
was
I
not
like
great.
Somerville.
And,
Somerville was really
I
good.
did not like Somerville.
Really? I
Yep,
liked it.
And I was
Yeah.
pimping out Somerville like it was going to be the next Inside game. I was pimping that out hard, and then I played
you
it.
were disappointed.
And in my opinion, my issue with that was the camera was so far away. My old man eyes could barely see what the hell was going on. But I love the premise
I will
of
tell
it.
you,
The premise was good.
Rhetri, real quick, on their website, it does show like you see Limbo, you see Inside, then it says join us on our next project, and there's like it looks like it's in space. It looks like there's a space station. It looks like there's a little rover that's in the distance.
Anything sci-fi, you got me hooked.
There you go.
Yeah.
You click on it, and there's a bunch of job openings. So there you go.
Right. Yeah, I did see they
still
had
in
a
the
bunch
mix.
of job openings. Yeah. I mean, I love that studio. I mean, I hope they still have the old chops that they did, because Inside is one of my all-time favorite indies. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Next up was Rebellion Developments out of UK. Oh, right. This is a studio that did Sniper Elite series, the Zombie Army series, which both of those I know a lot of people really
Those
like.
games are cool.
Yeah. So I think those are
I like
solid. They're solid, like
Right.
double A experiences.
If you see what they have done on the Switch, you need to get them for that alone. They made that thing like
you
Sniper
talking
Elite.
like the ports? You mean? Yeah.
Yeah, Sniper.
Yeah.
Elite, love the Switch. Sniper Elite plays like a dream on the damn Abacus. Like it.
What?
That thing. It plays excellent. 60 frames. Excellent.
Wow.
Stop it.
They went down to machine code to make it work that well. Like they are brilliant. That's why,
what you want. You want good technicians,
impressive.
right? That can figure
That's
this
very
stuff out.
impressive.
You want smart people as well as just good games. So there's nothing wrong with buying someone just based off of their chops in that regard.
Yeah.
Next up was Thunderful from Sweden. You got the Gunk. I don't know. I think they might have just published this one because this was from Wishfully, but under their banner was Planet Alana. Steam World. I loved Planet Alana.
Love the Steam World games. I love the Steam World games.
Yeah, I've never played the Steam World games, but they look
they're
dope,
really cool. Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 of them, and they're all different genres. Every single game is a completely different genre, and they're all in the same Steam World. Great little indie feeling games. Are very, very awesome. They run on any.
Right.
They're awesome. Like more people should play those games. They're really, really good.
Yeah, Planet Alana was great. I think this feels kind of like a lot of these feel like smaller studios that are already been in Game Pass. They have a relationship with these people, and maybe they just want to continue it and just buy them up, and it just helps bolster Game Pass itself. But next
that's smart business.
I just wonder what their turnaround.
Right. Yeah.
That's smart business because you already have a business relationship with the developer. You know how they work. You know their process, and you can know whether whether you can deal with that whole limited integration kind of thing. Hey, look, I can fund you, leave you alone. I ain't got to worry about no scandals. I ain't got to worry about people going like all kinds of foolishness that we know that happened at Activision kind of stuff going on. If we have a good understanding, because it's like they were working at one point with Moon Studios, and now they don't work with Moon no more. And that big report came out about how Moon was internally and how they had like 85% developer turnover.
Slow to be fair,
all the foolishness going on there. Like
Moon Studios, they ain't working with him because the lead of Moon Studios just won't shut his damn mouth. Every time you turn around, he's talking smack.
That's why I liked the whole Get Moon Studios thing. I was like, get Moon and just kick out the CEOs, just kick them right out.
That dude does not know how to not say anything bad about the mouth, the hand that feeds him. He keeps on them. So I think after I think they had an issue where they were trying to put it on PS5. On PlayStation, Ori, and they weren't allowed to. They were allowed to put it on Switch, but not on PlayStation. And it came to words. I don't think they work with Moon Studios no more.
Yeah, but see, but that's just kind of like how you work with someone and you have a business relationship with them, and then you get to know them, and you're like, you know what? This ain't a good acquisition.
Right?
This is not
absolutely.
Yeah, we don't mesh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do imagine that a lot of the developers that are on this
You have to
list
go in there and clean
that
up.
were already in Game Pass are developers that they like. We like how they work. We like their business culture, and they can work with us. We can work with them. And Moon's now on this list. Clearly.
Yeah, I know. I really
Yeah.
wanted Moon. That's okay. Ori is just one of my all-time.
That their next
of-
game,
oh,
if you've
God.
seen some of the details about it, I don't think a lot of people are going to be really high on Moon when their next game
Okay,
drops.
all right. Well, maybe Xbox saw it and went, we're good. Moving on.
It's I wouldn't even want to talk about it on the air. Some of the content
Yeah.
that their creators are trying to force the devs to do this is very
Oh, boy.
Then.
questionable.
That's not good. Well, it sounds like it's the same old Moon then. Sounds like not much has changed there, unfortunately.
Mhm.
They have a reputation with that sort of crunch and all kinds of bad stuff. Next up was Supergiant Games out of San Jose, California. So they brought us Hades, of course.
Yes.
Bastion and Hades 2 is coming out. I'm guessing Slow-Mo is for this one.
Hades is the best roguelike game ever. Freaking Supergiant Games is awesome. Everything they make is awesome. They should look, give them whatever they want. How you just get that's a developer. I show up, I have a blank check. I'm just like, use your imagination. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they are that good. And Hades is amazing. It's one of the best games I've played the past 5 years. I love that game.
He said.
Yeah,
There you go.
Supergiant's awesome.
Rinse and repeat. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know many
Ditto.
people who are going to be like pooing on this one. Like, it just seems like this is a given. You could get them probably on the cheap. They can't cost too much money, but like Slow-Mo said, just give them what the hell they want and just let them be weird. Let them do their own thing because they clearly know what the hell they're doing. Next up on this list was, now they got into publishers. There was only 2 publishers left that made it. To the end. I'm a little sad Focus Entertainment isn't here, but that's okay. That's for another discussion. Who did make it to the end of the list was Paradox Interactive out of Sweden. 650 people. I shouldn't do accents. I'm terrible at them. 650 people worked there. Cities. Shut up, Dave. Cities Skylines. They're the makers of Crusader King series and other stuff that I cannot remember at this point. Paradox Interactive for you guys. I'll go to you, Kay. What do you think? What do you think about Paradox?
I respect their stuff. I always have. I'm a City Skylines player. I've played it many a times, but I've never beaten any of their games. I understand it. It's a Netflix style play. Hey, we need to add more to and I say go for it, but it doesn't move the needle for me.
Gotcha. Slow-Mo, what do you think? I'll go to Bushido.
Okay, sorry. I had myself on mute, and then it was like I thought I unmuted.
He done fell asleep.
All right.
My bad. No.
You're good.
I've never played their games. I have had Crusader Kings installed for like multiple times.
Same here.
And I uninstalled it 'cause I needed space,
never played it.
and I've never played. So I have zero. I don't like to talk about devs or in their games that I haven't played. So like I do know they are a respected developer and people like their games, but me personally, I don't have a real opinion on them like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that they own Shadowrun. That's not a bad one to get.
wait,
That is a respect.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. I thought that was for somebody else, but I'll take.
He says he
your word for
owned
it,
the IP. Is it just that they own it, or they made the game?
That's a good
Because
question.
I'm looking at their list of games, and I don't see that.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah,
at least right now.
I would think they would. I think they would tout that, right? Shadowrun's a very respected series, but
I still don't see it on their list of games. I'm still going down. But good.
Maybe it was like very early on. It could have been that they did the early Shadowrun, like published the early Shadowrun games because they've still been out for a hot minute.
Right.
All right, so the elephant is obviously Sega.
Here we go.
Tokyo.
No, actually,
What?
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
What?
The
What?
elephant is Mario. The hedgehog is Sega.
It wasn't there for a show yesterday.
Wow.
Oh God, I was rolling. I was dying. There are knees literally on the line with this.
Sorry, I had to do it.
No, you're good.
Open the door, I had to walk in.
Yeah. Listen, all the
Beautiful.
shows blend together. All the shows blend together here. I was like, where the hell is he going with this?
Oh, I love it.
Oh man.
All right. So,
Shout out to the Simple Podcast.
anyways,
Amazing.
so you're killing me here. Sega. So they're quoted as having like around 3,300 people under them. So you got like Yakuza series, Fantasy Star, obviously Sonic, Bayonetta, Persona, Total War, Shenmue, Megami Tensei, like just an incredible depth of IP that is just probably has more IP than almost probably every single person we mentioned earlier put together. That's how long their list of IP is, and just dormant IP. So I will go to you, Bushido, first. Bushido, what do you think about Sega? Do you care about this? Does this move the needle? Are you into the Japanese games? What do you think about this possible acquisition?
First, let me give a sidebar with the Shadowrun thing. It was made by FASA Interactive, or FASA. So that was the studio that at least developed the game. So
Gotcha.
Microsoft's old studio, they closed.
yeah. Okay. Again, this is
okay.
fact.
I love
You
it.
say one more thing, and this is gonna be right here.
Candyman.
You say Sonic 3 times exactly.
Just don't say it in the mirror. You're good.
I personally, when it comes to Sega, I really do like the Yakuza series. I really do. I think it's a good one. I had to really go back about 3 times to play the first one, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the game. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of extra side quests I wasn't really feeling, but for the most part, I like the game though. I actually bought Ishin, and that was really good. That was a nice iteration into the Yakuza family. The other games and IPs, they're I'm up and down. I actually think Sonic, and I said it inside the chat the other day, is a relic of the past. I just think it's just
Ouch.
Yes,
we've tried, and we've
ears
tried.
just perked up.
Yeah. Oh no. Listen, I would expect no less from Everborn to be here after I said that. But listen, I got away with it in the chat. I was surprised. But I just think that the game is just past its time. It was a 2D game. We've tried 3D with it, and I actually want to get Sonic Frontier, so I'm going to get it on the cheap when I could catch a sale for it. But it's nowhere near up there with Mario. Mario, as far as gaming, is bigger than Sonic, bigger than Spider-Man as a game. But that's just me. That's just me too. Saying.
Mr.
But-
Mr. Bushido.
That's fair.
Mr. Bushido.
Yes.
Hey. Just kidding. I'm sorry.
Of course.
That's all right. That's all
Soundboard
right.
meme for every occasion, this guy.
Hey, we have a super chat. Let's read that real quick.
Absolutely. Oh, what's up? What's up? Mr. Joanna Dark with the $5 super chat. Shout out to K.ASANTA. We're about to collect knees in October. What remains of Everborn and John Wolf knees. Mario
Oh man.
greater than Sonic. Oh yeah. Well, we know
Yeah, I
Mr.
thought that was a
Joanna
sucker
Dark. He
bet.
loves. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Mr. Joanna Dark, because
Thanks, Joanna.
obviously that just makes a lot of sense. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Peaches. Thank you, Wade Johnson.
I get it for as far as like for the Japanese thing is concerned. For me, it does nothing because I can
Okay.
still buy Yakuza and be okay. I'm not really too big on their IP, but I do get it as far as for the squad. The only problem I have is someone asked me before because I said WB or bust, and the guy was like, "Well, how come you can't get both?" And my answer to him was, "I'm
That's tough.
afraid that if they buy either one of the two, they'll stop for like ever and won't
Yes.
acquire anybody else. So if it's gonna be that, I'd rather it be WB."
Right.
But
I
at the
agree
same
with you.
time,
Yeah.
I do get it. Yeah, I do get
Yeah.
it though because it'll
think
really
that
be a big
ABK
foothold. Yeah.
Yeah, if they get ABK, they got one more publisher in the maybe before
Maybe. I'm with
before
you.
it's gonna
Yeah.
be like
Exactly,
you can't buy
SloMo.
no more publishers.
I
Yeah,
100%
I
agree with
absolutely
SloMo.
agree.
And that next publisher will have to be after the current regime has gone. you're not doing it again while they're here.
Yeah, you can't be
Yeah.
like in the
You gotta
next
wait till that
2
dust
years.
settles.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta
Right,
wait.
I agree.
It's not happening.
it
Yes.
needs to be Sarah Bond's
Absolutely.
acquisition that Phil Smith.
Right.
I agree
right,
with you, and that's the
absolutely.
thing. If they want to put a stake in the ground in Japan, they have to get Sega or Capcom, in my opinion,
That
or
would
I
be
mean
the
maybe
biggest one.
Bandai.
That or,
You know what I
or
mean?
Bandai Namco. Yeah.
I want Capcom. It's not. I don't think it's going to happen. I've been tooting
That's
that
a more
horn
attractive deal than
forever.
Sega, I think.
You know who I
I
want?
agree.
Yeah.
Nobody likes my choice.
Oh, I know who you want. He
Is that
wants tears. He wants tears from the other side. He wants them flowing. That's what you want. You want Square.
And the
See?
reason I want Square is not for the tears.
Not for the Steiner.
Dude,
All
they
right.
have so much good franchises. They have Kingdom Hearts, man. They have
Yeah.
just so many more.
I mean, you're not
great
wrong.
titles.
I just
It
it's
would
just
be
not
interesting.
personally for me, but you're
One of
not
the biggest
wrong.
games of all time, which is
It would
the
be
Devil-
interesting, Dave.
Dragon's Quest.
Dave,
Like
I
Dragon
agree
Quest.
with
Yep.
you. It would
Huge,
be
huge,
totally
huge.
awesome and
That's a good
interesting to have them sign up to Microsoft, because then maybe somebody can teach Yoshi P the black people were in Europe. But okay,
That would be great. Yeah.
Well,
Good point,
that's but you clean house just like you do the others when you take over ABK. Just saying.
That's a
Good
lot
one,
of
Mr.
cleaning.
Mr.
That's a
Dirk.
lot of cleaning,
Wow.
Dave.
I
That's a
have
lot of
the
racist
Yeah,
shopping.
right.
Japanese publisher that no one is really talking about. And this is what they acquired this publisher. It would provide them the kind of portfolio where they're getting Japanese RPGs, they're getting fighting games, they're getting everything that they kind of miss on the platform right now.
Pearl.
That
From software.
Bandai Namco.
I'm going
yes,
Pearl.
Bandai Namco.
Oh, Bandai.
Yeah, I said Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Acquire them, and you're
Absolutely. You get
you're
everything.
getting Soul Calibur, you're getting
Sure.
Tekken,
Yes.
Checking.
you're getting the Tales RPGs. Tales of
Yeah.
Arise just came
Yeah.
out.
That's a good one.
Theory.
Tales of Rise, definitely.
You're getting literally everything, every genre that the Japanese audience enjoys.
Yeah.
And that
100%.
in those games are becoming more and more popular
Now-
in other regions of the world.
I see what Mr. Joanna Dark is saying there in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but even that would not save you when Elephant Tusk is out there stomping on people. I'm sorry,
Mr. Joanna Dark
it ain't
with a
gonna
$2 super chat. With every carton of milk, you get Sonic free. Dude, the slander is great tonight.
I'd like to reverse that and say on every carton of milk there is a Sonic on the back of it. So
Yeah, where is he?
yeah.
Is he out?
That was two. That was two.
Enigmatic Dreams with a $2 super chat. Parasite Eve remastered. Man, I forgot.
Oh, absolutely.
I forgot
Love
about
that
Parasite
game.
Eve. Good call out, dude.
Very good game.
Man,
Showing your
that's a
age
thing.
also.
Yep. welcome to the gray beard, sir. J
Shout out
Mac.
to the gray
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
I just want to jump
Oh,
in real
man.
quick. 'Cause we're at the 2:16 mark, 2 hours and 16
Yes.
minutes, and I know people are tired and people that have been on podcast all day. I love you, K.ASANTA. But I just want to Rhetri, do you have that little video? Did you want it's a short video? Did you want to just jump on
it's
it real
very-
quick and then we'll get everybody
it's
out
really
of here?
it's really short. Yeah, we'll get everyone out of here after this news. That was basically coming from Double Fine. Apparently isn't working on Psychonauts 3 right now. I know we thought it was teased on the internet. I think that is Evil Within 3 personally, if you guys know what the heck I'm talking about, from the Xbox ANZ official account from Xbox. So they were teasing something. It was not Psychonauts 3, according to this fine gentleman right here. Let me add that.
With me and on the rest of the chat as well. Really, really appreciate you answering all of our questions. Looking forward to whatever you're going to be making next. Do you think are we going to hear any news about anything sometime this year, do you think? Or
I don't know. We don't know. I don't know. It's another thing. We're kind of the Willy Wonka closed doors face, but
right,
soon
yeah.
throw them
Okay.
open and cause a lot of harm to a lot of children, just like Willy Wonka.
Oh, sounds great. Because I was really, I'll be honest, I was expecting something at Xbox Direct because there was, I don't know if you saw, there was this weird announcement that an Xbox Twitter account made about, it said Psych, and then it had some,
Said
it was like
Psycho,
a
not
noughts and
Psych, but
crosses board,
Psycho.
and then it had 3 crosses. And it was a really, it looked like it was trying to suggest Psychonauts. And people,
see that.
just
I don't know what
from
you're talking
that,
about.
just from that, people started. There was all these rumors that Psychonauts 3 was going to get announced at Xbox Direct.
I'm not working on Psychonauts 3. Let me tell you
Yeah,
that. It
yeah.
would kill me.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, the
so
video for some
confirmed.
reason froze
Yeah, I don't
up.
know why
Sorry
the
about
video
that.
froze. Probably it's just been sitting in the queue for too long. But yeah, so obviously, the reason that some of us think it's Evil Within 3 from Tango Gameworks is because it translates in Japan to I think it was Psycho Break or something like that is the name. So
Psycho
Evil
Breaker
Within 3
3.
is not right. Psycho Break is what it's called in Japan. It's not Evil Within 3. So, or Evil Within, I should say. So that's kind of, we know it's definitely not Psychonauts now. Because from what we've heard, that studio is going to be working on something probably brand new, some brand new IP. And I say, let them,
Yeah, they're very
get weird
creative.
with it, do something new. You know what I mean? Psychonauts. If you watch the documentary, that was it was rough watching those guys. It was a lot. It was pretty rough watching them go
Yeah.
through what they did with Psychonauts too. So I think it's let it breathe and move on to
Pretty cool.
new IP. So yep. So now we know, and that's that.
So my only thing is, while I'm happy to hear that they're not making Psychonauts 3 because they should do something new, and I think that's great, I will then immediately double back on the exact thing I just said and said, I wish they made Brutal Legend 2 because
I knew you were gonna. I knew you were gonna say Brutal Legend.
Didn't Jack Black speak out on that recently, saying that he was down to do it?
I know
Yes,
he said he did.
He did.
I want to. Anyone that hasn't
Look, we might
watched a
get
Brutal
Jack
Legend,
Black.
oh,
We might
what a
get
game.
him in another game with them anyway. So
Yeah, probably.
I don't know why
Probably,
that's playing.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, I mean, every recent game Jack Black has been in it, including Psychonauts 2. So there you go.
How about that?
Let me boot that thing before it plays
Yeah, it
by
started playing
itself
again.
again.
That
I don't
was
know.
I think we were the only ones that could hear it, but still, it was
Okay.
very
All right.
annoying.
Hopefully, I don't know if you guys heard that, but yeah.
No, we didn't hear it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Just internally, just me and Dave were both like, "What the
We're still
hell's
working
going
along.
on?"
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens. I guess let's
Yeah,
go ahead
so-
and let's get our outros for everybody. Let's start with Mr. Bushido.
Goodbye. No, I'm joking.
All right, cool. Kick him out. Let's go. I'm just kidding. That was fast.
You can only catch me on Xbox and PlayStation and Twitter as Mr. Bushido N7, and you can catch me on it's supposed to be Wednesdays now. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Hopefully that's the time because I'm saying it here now. But Wednesdays at 7 on the KY Bobby Show, which is actually called Game Set Live. I like calling it the KY Bobby Show. Just like I like saying Web David. Yeah. I like saying Web David instead of Web Dave. So
Notice
yeah, so that's it. That's all you'll catch me at right about now at least.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Appreciate
And
that.
let's go to SloMoBackSlap.
Yo, had a great show, man. Great chat as usual. Such intelligent, nice people on this panel and chat.
Even with Dave.
Just had to say it.
Agreed.
Except for those who have a thing about Sega and Sonic. I don't know. Let me not do that. I'm messing around. They are smart, intelligent people too. But no. Again, had a great time. You can find me on my own YouTube channel, SloMoBackSlap. You can also find me on Twitter at the same name when Twitter works. When Twitter's not working, you can find me at Hive at the same name. But no. DPS podcast, that's Damage Per Second podcast, Thursday nights 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and the homie, my co-host Gaming Forte, we do that. We go back and forth. It's on his channel this week, but also we dual stream it on our channels and our own DPS Damage Per Second podcast YouTube channel as well. So if you don't know which week the show is on, you can just go to the DPS channel.
That's an excellent idea.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
And hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend and your holiday, and enjoy your games, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here, sir. Great privilege to have you on every time.
Thank you.
K.ASANTA, Marathon Man.
Yeah, for me, let's see, K.ASANTA, Xbox, PlayStation, Twitter, all those places. I appreciate being on the show. You know, if I'm not on the show, I'm in your chat being ridiculous. Appreciate you letting me on. Yes, anytime you ask me to be on, I of course will be on. The benefit of having me on once I've been on a 6-hour ILP marathon is I'm a little more punchy than I'm usually. So you have to forgive me for that.
I love it.
But yeah, you can catch me on all those places. Myself and of course Mr. Everborn Saga. We are hosting the Gaming Circle podcast, and actually we have a great round of guests that are coming on our shows this week. So myself and the other slanderous one in the chat, Mr. John Wolf, we host a show called The Gamers Playground.
Yes.
As I said, it's on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and basically talking about PC entry level, helping people into the waters, handhelds, that kind of thing. So we will be having the SloMoBackSlap on our show this Monday night to talk about his new rig.
John might not want me on after the
Oh yes.
we insist on having Slow-Mo on this Monday night. He will talk about his new rig, and he will make sure he keeps Mr. John Wolf on his toes, and I will be there for it. So it'll be hilarious. And then, of course, this Saturday, we're super excited because we have a big guest, and actually, officially, I can say it now. We will have Paris Lily on the Gaming Circle podcast this Saturday.
Love Paris.
So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully by then we'll have some news about all the movers and shakes of this ABK thing, so we can just talk about it and be done with it. But yes, thank you guys so much for having me on. It's been awesome. You know, I'm gonna go take a nap now. See y'all later.
It's a blessing to have you on, sir. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you. You're such a professional, and you are an asset to the community at large. So thank you so much for being here. Rhetri, tell us where everybody can find you. I'm also going to drop that in the chat, your YouTube channel, which everybody needs to subscribe to, because he's only like 30 away from hitting 500.
Like
so
20, I'm like 21 from the 500 mark because YouTube lowered their standards for people like me. Thanks, YouTube. So you can follow me on Game Pass _daily on Twitter, guys, and Game Pass Daily on YouTube. And of course, every week here with WEBDAVE at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Gamers Council. And of course, Xbox Factor podcast every Tuesday at 12 p.m. with Boom, Umbra, and Danny. So yeah, I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. You guys killed it. Channel, the panel and the chat. Sorry, I'm mixing up my words.
all right.
Just thank you guys. It was a blast. This was a really fun show. So thanks for coming out.
It was great. And again, if you get a chance, go to his channel and subscribe, please. We greatly this channel. Obviously, a lot of people subscribe to us, and we appreciate that here. It means a lot. Super chats mean a lot. Every you guys coming out, hanging out with us mean a lot. It's a great community, and we're blessed to be a part of it. And we love being here. And we love doing what we do. And because you're here and you hang out and listen to us, it just means we get to keep doing it. So thank you so much for that. And also just a quick last little shout out. Doom Cutie had her new show, the Gamers Confessions of a Gamer Girl podcast, and that came out this past week with her first guest, Alana Pierce, who is an absolutely amazing female gamer, and also she is a writer at the Sony Santa Monica, and worked on such titles as Ragnarok. So anyway, just wanted people to know about that, and if you get a chance, check her out. It's an amazing podcast. Also, all the description, all the information for all of our guests are already in the chat in the description. Whether you watch this listen to it on Spotify later, or you are watching it now on YouTube, it is there. So please click through, subscribe these people, hit the bell icon so you don't miss out anything. And thanks everybody for joining us here on the Gamers Council.